Well, that last one we can do.
You don't want to miss a thing. That's why at Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer, they have so much to offer, like SaskTel wireless internet. Contact Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Moosomin today.
This Turkey Alert is brought to you by Sherwood Co-op Food Stores.
Thanksgiving will soon be here.
We hope you'll be surrounded by family and an amazing Thanksgiving feast.
And if you forgot anything at all,
Cranberry sauce. People always forget the cranberry sauce.
we're here to help.
From all of our families at Sherwood Co-op to our owners around the dinner table, happy Thanksgiving. We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
Can someone please pass the stuffing?
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Yes, on 620 CKRM and on the stream. Do we have a busy day of sports or athletics around the world today? It's crazy. It's Barney Shinkaruk next 3 hours. Colson Schultz on the board. Curtis doing his thing, whatever he does over there, making the stream look all fancy. Sharky is in. It is Thursday. And Maz, who was on the show yesterday with Dave Thomas, is back. So we got like 5 guys in here. I'm under the weather. I'm not wearing a mask. Should I have worn a mask?
I think.
Just a second. The only reason I showed up is because I want this in person.
Yes.
I can go to the truck. I'll go get them out of the truck.
No, I thought Barney said that they clipped on and you carry them around all the time.
No, that was previous. He thought I was an old guy and did the clip-ons. I have separate ones for.
No, this is a prop. I brought this specifically because I want Sharky in the shades in person.
If you're watching the stream, you see
after the break it will be. Yeah.
Maz in the sunglasses, and Sharky is going to go get his blue blockers out of his Crown Vic at the break.
Hey, it's a good-looking Crown Vic, I'm telling you right now.
3 hours of craziness coming on here. We're going to hear from Coach Mace and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He's going to talk about Nathan Rourke and facing Nathan Rourke, and then we can all debate what's Nathan Rourke been since he's come back. We can talk about that in a bit. Rob Vanstone, historian from Saskatchewan Roughriders, is going to join us in hour 1. We're going to tee up some hockey around the area. Tomorrow, it's a busy day tomorrow, hockey-wise, for all you hockey fans out there. Rash Madani in hour 2. NASCAR report. I understand it was a crazy weekend for NASCAR. Again, it slipped my mind to watch.
I got to start sending you a reminder text.
You do right when the race starts.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You'll get one. You'll get one this weekend.
Thank you. Is it on Sunday?
It is on Sunday.
That's perfect. I'll be driving home.
So where are they this weekend? They were in Talladega last weekend.
Charlotte, but they're on a Roval.
Oh, but they're not at the Motor Speedway.
Well, it is, but they've changed. They've got a second option to it. So instead of just going on the oval, they've got a road course as part of the oval. So it's 17 corners, not just left-hand turns this time. They're going to turn right. They need a new signal light.
I'm going to have to look this up in break. I need to visualize. Regina Thunder, they take on Calgary Sunday, 1 p.m. at Leibel Field. We're going to join by Zach Weigela, fifth-year wide receiver from the Thunder, as they look to punch their ticket to the PFC final. Hour 3, Glenn Suter. I think he's going to be live from the Plaza of Honor because we're going to be talking about the Plaza as we go along here today. Roy Shivers, Darian Durant going in. Of course, we got audio from them on this program as well. And later on, we're going to hear from Brian Cox Jr. from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So it's busy. It is. And then you look at the NHL schedule tonight. After last night, we got LA in Buffalo, Montreal, Boston, Florida, Ottawa, Toronto, New Jersey, Utah, the Islanders, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Dallas, Nashville, Columbus, Minnesota, St. Louis, San Jose. St. Louis starting out on the West Coast. I don't know much about playing in the NHL, obviously.
Lots of reasons.
I'm thinking that would be fantastic way to start the season, get together with the fellas, Laguna Beach. No, where do they stay? They stay, a lot of the teams stay.
Do they stay in Newport and just
Newport.
drive? And then they just drive into LA because it doesn't matter. You're stuck in
Playing
traffic
San Jose,
anyways.
though. Playing San Jose.
Tonight.
Yeah, San Jose. But when they're doing the LA Anaheim thing, then they stay in Newport. And then just bus everywhere.
Well, and then, because you like the Vegas, Arizona, not so much. Vegas, Utah, obviously San Jose. Those are quick little jaunts in. It's almost like
Easy flights.
It's kind of like on a way different level of when the Flin Flon bus was in front of the Ramada in downtown Regina.
Exactly the same.
And they
Exactly
shuttle out
the
and
same.
play all the southern teams out of Regina. I think a lot of teams do that when they go to the West Coast. What about...
No, here's the thing. Did you guys see this on social media? So the other night, Utah had its first home game.
Yep.
And it said that they sold $120,000 worth of beer. But they didn't put that in context. Was that good? Or is that bad? Because I'd like to know, for probably some hockey rinks to be like, we can do that in the first period.
It's more beer than they ever sold at a Utah basketball game.
Oh, okay. That's what it was.
So it was greater beer sales than the basketball team can generate.
Because it's hard to get a drink in Utah in a lot of places because
Yes.
you have to join a social club. There's not you can't just walk into a bar. You have to join a social club.
Why go there?
But when your sister lives there and you're going to visit because you want to be a good brother.
Park City,
awesome skiing.
The area around it, it's just different.
It is.
It's
Salt Lake, Ogden, Provo, and the Wasatch Front. If you don't know your Utah lingo.
No, I don't know my Utah at all because I can't get a beer there. So,
Did I ever tell you the story of playing hockey there?
Yes,
as
you
a
did.
youngster.
Yeah.
And then we were going to the store to grab some things, and it was just after 10 o'clock, and all of a sudden, federales roll up, and they're like, "Where are you guys from? Like, what's going on here? Like, you guys got it?" And we're like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, 10 o'clock, you got to be inside. This is back in the mid to late 90s. So I don't know if it's changed. Curfew.
I don't remember a curfew so much, but I remember we went somewhere, and if we wanted to come into this bar, you had to buy a membership to a social club. It was $20 a person. Then you could have a drink.
I think someone might have taken you to one of those interesting bars where
a gentleman's club.
No. I was thinking the husband and wife go to once. Anywho, membership style. Let's go.
Where have you been, Barney?
Let's go. Hey, I watched the internet, the dark net,
The dark web.
Calgary Flames fans.
Don't get too excited.
No. I don't think anyone's going to get excited, but that's a wild game.
We had Pat Steinberg on, who covers the Flames for Sportsnet in Calgary, and he was on. And Pat loves the Flames. He loves Michael Bass. Of course, he's going to say great things. The game was 4-1 Vancouver, and I'm like, oh, sorry, Pat, it's going to be a rough night for you and the rest of Flames Nation. And then when I woke up today, I'm like, what? They came back and won in overtime? Are you kidding me?
It was an exciting finish. The Flames actually carried the play for the most part. Even when they were down 4-1, they were carrying the play. I thought.
So you watched the whole game?
I watched most of the game.
I watched the last 5 minutes.
You saw the best part. Yeah.
Vladar.
Dan Vladar?
Yeah.
Vladar, he gets scored on and he's not wearing his mask. It was like a la Johnny Bauer, Terry Sawchuk. It was awesome. And
It
I'm
was.
Like, aren't they supposed to immediately blow that down?
I thought so. Yeah.
I don't. I must.
That tying goal by Vancouver, what a shot. To rifle that, he was almost on the face-off dot and he beat him high glove on the far side. That was the only spot he could put it.
Connor Zary dropping jocks like crazy on that overtime winner.
That was nice.
Nice play by him.
And if Anthony Mantha is going to have to be the tough guy on the Flames this year, and be like, I think it's going to be a long season for Flames.
No,
fans.
they got a whole cast of characters for that. I don't think they're going to rely on Anthony Mantha. I think that might have been more the weight class.
Flame fans can. Everything's just a good day today. Day one, they're out of the gate. Edmonton fans, I guarantee they're just like whatever. But 6-0.
If that was the middle of January, we wouldn't even talk about it. We wouldn't even talk about a 6-0 loss in the middle of January. It'd be done, over with. We'd carry on to the next game because it was a season opener. It's getting a lot of hype.
Nuge -2. McDavid -2.
Yep,
Draisaitl was -2.
I believe so. Yeah,
And guess the defenseman that was -2.
Nurse.
Yes, you are correct.
He started the season -4 probably just because everybody hates him. So here's the thing: I watched the pregame intros, and I kind of like they had the band, like the musicians, like right as they're coming out. And I don't know who designed that, but I was like, well, that's kind of cool. There's guitar players on each side, and then they say Leon Draisaitl. It's his 11th season already as an Edmonton Oiler, and I was like, wow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he'd been
there since he was 18. Yeah.
He's been so good for so long, and you're like, wow, it's been 11 years.
I do not remember him playing for the Prince Albert Raiders at all. It's almost too bad.
It is, but it's quite a while back. The other thing is he went to the World Juniors for Germany.
Yeah.
He played in the World Juniors and then got traded to Kelowna at the deadline because they knew they weren't getting him back.
Oh, Germany was in the World Juniors that
I believe
year?
so, yeah.
That makes sense. What year did he play here? I'm just pulling up what year he played in Prince Albert. So it was 13-14.
Yeah, and life was different back then. I mean, it's stuff on the internet is way more shareable now, and you see way more junior stuff if you want to, and if you follow that, as opposed to back then, it would have been like, hey, it's Prince Albert Raider clips of this Leon kid.
Sorry, first year was 12-13. So 2012, 2013, 64 games, 58 points. And then the next year with Prince Albert, he had 64 games played, 105 points. One guy who might have watched him back then. Let's go out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. We're going to talk football with this guy. It is Rider historian Rob Vanstone joining us from beautiful Mosaic Stadium. Rob, do you remember watching Leon Draisaitl twirl in the Western Hockey League?
Oh, do I ever? Prince Albert Raiders. Yeah, he was something. And,
was he? Who do you equate him
yes.
to? Who? What did I miss?
Oh my! It was, just,
Well,
it was like, what is Prince Albert doing dressing an active National Hockey League player? He was he is so good when he was out there. You know, I remember watching Mike Modano when he was with the Raiders, and maybe that's the parallel in terms of someone who just radiated big leaguer or future big leaguer when he was out there. He wasn't drafted as high as Modano, who went first overall in '88, but if you look at the careers, they've both become just sensational National Hockey Leaguers.
Was he a big, powerful kid in the Western Hockey League, or was he a little more kind of shifty and got out of the way of a lot of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, physically it was imposing for a lot of the players in junior hockey to oppose him, but we also saw the skill that he possessed. It was he didn't get enough opportunities. It was just it was so neat to watch him and kind of. I mean, nobody watching a player in junior, unless you're talking about Sidney Crosby or Connor Bedard or Mario Lemieux, someone of Guy Lafleur, someone of that ilk, it's a bit hazardous to think, this is going to be someone who's going to score 500 goals. But you knew, I mean, I'm not sure I or others thought that he was going to become what he has become, but you knew he was going to become a good player because he was just so good every shift he was out there.
Riders, Lions, Thanksgiving weekend, Mosaic Stadium. We really need people in the stadium. We need that home field advantage, Robbie, to pull this off, to get them back here, hopefully. When you look at everything, is it more important for the organization to have that home playoff game or for the team?
I'm not sure you can really separate the two. I think everything's pretty intertwined. I mean, there's obvious, financial benefits to having a home playoff game. When that has happened in the past, it's certainly made a discernible difference on in terms of the bottom line. So there's that aspect of it, and I think that works symbiotically with what the football team can do to make it a better situation for the players too. And the players come here and they see the facilities and everything, but that. That is maintained because of the overall strength of the organization. So I think there's benefits there. In terms of, it being a forbidding place to play, if there become, if there's problems getting off the snap, or if the other team has, the receivers or offensive linemen have trouble dealing with the crowd noise. I mean, that's a huge factor. And we've seen that through time. It doesn't guarantee a home field playoff victory, but it's certainly beneficial to have that force of and all those decibel levels on your side.
Rob Sharkey here, and I know you're the only guy that's going to know the answer to this question. How do the Riders do in the West semifinal when playing at home historically?
I would probably have to take you through a lot of years. As far as ones that I remember, I mean, in 1988, it was the first playoff game the Riders had played in since 1976, and BC came in here, and Tony Cherry ran wild, and BC won that game. Rough Rider players look at that game now as a really hard lesson that showed them what was needed in order to win the Grey Cup the following year. And if you look through time, the Rough Riders teams that have won Grey Cups have all had a heartbreaking, just gutting loss the year before. Not saying it's beneficial, but it can be used constructively in those circumstances. But we also saw, in 2007 when the Rough Riders played in their first home playoff game since 1988, and Calgary came in here, and Riders won 26-24 in the first play of the game. Harry Joseph to DJ Flick for a 62-yard touchdown, and that was a happening. That was an event. And as people
How do you
remember,
keep that all in your head?
That touchdown in the 2010 West semifinal against BC when the Riders won that one to advance to the West final, ultimately the Grey Cup.
How do you keep that all in your head? Like you're not
I have
looking at notes.
There's nothing in my head that pertains to anything practical. If you need me to change a light bulb or change a tire, there's no capacity for doing that. I'm just hoping to be able to figure out how to use my key card to open the door. But if it's football stuff, that's all that's in there. I know how to do that, and I know how to put the leash on my dog, and that's about it.
Nice. There's not enough DJ Flick stories on the radio these days. He's kind of been forgotten here. We were talking on the show yesterday, Rob. Since Trevor Harris has come back from injury, he is posting some incredible stats, and you've seen a lot of quarterbacks over the years. Is he operating at a level where he's getting himself into elite territory in your mind from what you've seen?
Well, there's one thing he's done that's already unprecedented, or three things that he's done, perhaps. In each of his last three games, he's passed for he's completed at least 75% of his passes with and I use this category while applying a minimum of 15 attempts. Over those last three games, he's been at or above 75. He's the first quarterback in Rider history to do that 3 times in a row. There was like a handful, 6 or 7 maybe, who had done that previously, having back-to-back games of 75% or more. But Trevor's the first to do it 3 weeks in a row, 3 games in a row. And accuracy has always been one of his fortes, and we are really seeing the benefits of that lately. I mean, and it's not, on the backs of a lot of safe passes. We have seen some of the very tight windows in which Trevor Harris has been able to complete passes, and that's what's really impressive. If you were watching the game from the stands, you wouldn't necessarily think there was a sliver there, but somehow he's been able to get the ball into receivers' hands where you would think, well, there's a defender there, there's a defender there, there's a defender. How is he doing that? And that to me is as remarkable as the numbers.
He's only thrown, well, I guess 1,581 yards. Nathan Rourke coming in here, probably playing for the BC Lions. Maybe you are doing a piece on it, Rob. I'm not sure. If you were going to do a piece on Nathan Rourke, what questions would you be asking? What do you want to know about Nathan Rourke now that he's back in the CFL?
I'm just so curious as to how he just was so good immediately. And we saw the first game of the 2021 season, that truncated season, and he was a starting quarterback for BC then, and threw a long touchdown pass to Lucky Whitehead down the left sideline that night. But, of course, we saw the full Nathan Rourke show in 2022. And I remember there were questions coming into 2022. What are the Lions doing starting this guy? He's relatively untested, et cetera, et cetera. And just so quickly he just eliminated that discussion. And in 2022, Nathan Rourke played here twice before he was unfortunately injured. And, as one who just enjoys Canadian football, I'd watch that, the mechanics. And I talked about the windows that Trevor Harris has been hitting. Well, Nathan Rourke was doing that in 2022, and he still does that very well. And I would really be interested in just how he got to that level so quickly, how that development was accelerated. And I'd really like to know who worked with him on his mechanics, because it seems to me like it's everything he does is textbook. It's just, I love watching him play. I love Canadian football, and I love watching the stars of the game. And obviously I have my allegiances going into Saturday, but if you don't appreciate Nathan Rourke playing football, I think you need to take a look a little deeper, because it's a privilege to watch guys like that play.
All right, Rob, with the Plaza of Honor tonight, if you're watching our stream, Rob has a hat on. He's probably going to go home, get cleaned up, put on a tux, and head over to the event.
Tux and tails. He's got a VIP card.
That would
I'm
be
going
nice.
to a garage sale. Hopefully I can find a tux for $15. So
the stat, Roy Shivers, in his time as general manager, his time in Saskatchewan, correct, he found all sorts of players, but 11 players, is that the number that are already in the Plaza of Honor because of what Roy Shivers was able to bring to the Saskatchewan Roughriders? Wow.
Players who were scouted by Roy or came here during Roy's tenure, 11 of them are in the Plaza. And I mean, and that doesn't, or
that's a good batting average.
That doesn't include Henry Burris, who's in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. It was Roy who brought Henry Burris to the Canadian Football League. And, one of the unanswerable questions will always be, what if Henry had stayed here for a longer duration? Now, as it turned out, Roy also brought Darian Durant to Saskatchewan, and there's a Plaza of Honor member and a Grey Cup champion. He also brought Kerry Joseph to Saskatchewan. There's a same thing, Plaza of Honor, Grey Cup. Just an uncanny ability to find players. One question I wanted to ask him, somewhat jokingly, but I think there'd probably be an element of truth to it, is like, okay, Roy, if all of a sudden the Rough Riders found themselves without a running back's room, somehow the door got locked or they couldn't get out, and they had to find a running back for Saturday, could you pick up the phone and find a running back who could get 100 yards? I bet he still could. I bet he could just call upon a contact, call upon his network, and there would be someone at the airport within 12 hours. He could spot talent instantly, and he had a great network of contacts, and I don't think anybody's ever been better at finding players than Roy Shivers. Just an absolute, as great as anybody has ever been at doing that in Canadian football, in general.
That's what I was going to say, right? That network, that cell phone network guy. Network guy always is going to win.
Yep.
And he's not a cell phone guy. He would probably, we were joking today about times he had to use a payphone in order to put players on the negotiation list. I mean, Roy isn't one for mobile phones and everything, but it's the techniques that served him well in 1986.
That's where McCullough got his phone skills from. I was just going to say. The Roy Shivers approach. I will have a cell phone, but it will have no other technology other than phone calls.
What a Rolodex he must have. Could you imagine the Rolodex he's got, the spin on that?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, it just...
we'll have to explain that to some.
We've seen here the benefits of having Roy Shivers. I mean, half the Grey Cup winning quarterbacks in Riders history were brought to Saskatchewan during the Roy Shivers years.
Shout out to the remember the Maestro? We were talking about that a couple days ago, and then the phone, the first caller ID phone. Yeah, I was talking to some guys yesterday about it. They were like, "You brought up the Maestro. If you had a Maestro back in the day,
you were in a different
next level.
You were richer than everybody else.
You were better off.
If you had a fridge in the garage growing up, you were next level rich, because you have a second fridge just full of pop and liquor. Yeah. Wow, and air conditioning was really next level where we grew up. Nobody had air conditioning.
There was a microwave for a period there, a microwave. It's like, how did you cook that so fast? We have a microwave. Okay, Rob, you know what? If you ever need that light change, we'll send over Croft Electric. Not a problem. You just keep all that info that we need up here. So when we call you, you come on and be an absolute beauty. And then anyone in the region having a garage sale today that maybe has a tuxedo, 936-6262. Have a good one, Robbie.
You too. Thanks for having me. Have a great day.
Yeah. He knows a lot.
He's got a lot.
We started with Leon Draisaitl. We started talking about Leon Draisaitl playing in the Western Hockey League, and then he goes into everything else.
We ended on microwaves.
Microwaves, yeah. But the Maestro, that was, it's like, oh no, don't call, because they'll be able to tell. They know it's you.
Caller ID.
Huh? You just blew my mind. You mean like they can see my number and name?
That was a game changer.
Where now it's almost like when it comes up on your phone, likely spam, it kind of takes the fun out of it. I'll answer any phone call because if you've ever been in sales before, and we all have.
You don't know.
No, and the other thing too is all I was hoping for a lot of days is somebody would pick up the phone. And I don't care if they listen for 5 seconds or 5 minutes, just somebody please to make me feel better about what I'm trying to do to earn a living. I don't care how you get me off the phone, but just pick up so we can start a conversation.
Yeah. I can remember, though, not only could you see it, but then there was call display. Then there was the ability to put somebody on hold on your phone at home. So you had the ability to tap your phone at home and put somebody on hold and take another call.
Go call waiting.
Call
Like
waiting.
three-way calling?
Yeah, like that blew me away.
No, call waiting. Call waiting. Call waiting is different than three-way calling.
Call waiting.
When that
yeah.
first came out at home.
Yeah.
Like, I was different than at work. You had buttons at work, but at home you didn't have buttons.
Hold on. He's on the other line. Click, click. Well, there's that Seinfeld episode, right? I don't know if Dave Thomas isn't listening today, where they screw it up. It's still me. And it's like, yeah. Oh, that was... Didn't have that kind of technology on the west side.
West side of Saskatoon didn't get that, eh?
Did do a lot of pranks to the payphone, though. Once you figured out that payphone number when you were a kid, just once in a while you'd call. You'd be like,
That's how you entertained yourself, calling the payphone.
help me, I'm in trouble. I need help. It's like, and then just hang up. Yes. Anyway.
You were the waste of police resources in Saskatoon.
But police had Saskatoon Blades hockey cards. You wanted the police to come by.
I remember that. You could flag them down and they had hockey cards.
Yeah.
I remember that's getting a Brian Scrudlin card because you flagged down cops and there was Al Larochelle, Brian Scrudlin, Leroy Gorski. Let's see who else.
You guys are really dating
I have
yourself.
a Dave Strush one. I don't think it's in that bag. I have the Strush and Sissons one that I found. And it went all the way. I think that was kind of the last years were those. So that would be early 90s. Yeah.
I remember doing it in the 80s when they first started that.
Larry DePalma.
Larry DePalma.
Mark Rader in that. No, Mark Rader was a defenseman.
He was a defenseman.
What was that one?
Yeah.
Mark Reimer.
Mark Reimer.
Was a goalie.
Something Holtby.
Roger.
It was Brandon, wasn't it?
Roger. No, Brandon was. He's like would be the grandson.
The dad.
Oh, okay.
Then Braden's dad.
I think Roger.
Roger.
Was it Roger? Or both
I'm sure we could hockey DB this and stop
I'm gonna
sounding
have to
like
look
idiots.
that up.
Speaking of Nathan Rourke taking on the Riders, Corey Mace talked about it with Dave Thomas earlier today. We're going to take a quick break. We come back, we're going to have that. If you're watching the Sports Cage on the stream, it's sportscage.com.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Sherwood Co-op Liquor Stores. Now open in Harbor Landing and Rochdale Boulevard.
Hey, Rider Nation, this is Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Listen to this. How does a 50-50 payday sound? Sounds like a win to me. Huddle up to riders5050.ca and you can purchase 50-50 tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can even score quickly with the early bird prize. This week, it's a trip to Viva Las Vegas, and you'll be in for the massive weekly jackpots. Buy now at riders5050.ca and support amateur football in Saskatchewan. Sponsored by ISC. License LR 2426.
The government just asked us to save the world. They'll do it. They've made a few requests, so they want you to bring back floppy disks, pet rocks, and they all want Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
Well, that last one we can do.
You don't want to miss a thing. That's why at Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer, they have so much to offer, like SaskTel wireless internet. Contact Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Moosomin today.
Your Co-op Grow team are your local experts because we live here too. Our agronomic specialists stay up to date with the latest research and technology to help support your entire farm operation. Talk to our team for advice tailored to your farm's needs. We have recommendations to help you optimize your crop yield and quality while enhancing the health of your land. Co-op, we're all growing together. Here for your farm, here for your family. Learn more at coop.crs/farm.
Getting the urge to redecorate? Now's the time. It's Seco Days. Save up to 50% on Seco's best paints. Paints we're proud of for projects you'll be proud of. Hurry! Deal ends October 16th. Find your paint at seco.ca.
The all-new Sports Cage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
Saturday, the Riders are going to try and get that home playoff game with the Lions in town. The pregame show starts right here on 620 CKRM at 2 p.m. with Justin Dunk and Wes Cates, and then kickoff at 5 p.m. Nathan Rourke, I've mentioned this. It's somewhat uneasy feeling. Like, are we going to see him explode at some point and do it? Or this Riders defense, tough to figure out.
I'm picking the defense here.
Yeah, so am I.
I'm picking I'm also picking our offense against BC's defense. I'm also picking Trevor Harris to keep Nathan Rourke off the field by being very effective on offense, getting some long drives, taking up some clock time so that Rourke's got to go sit on the bench and get icy cold and worry about other things.
Obviously, that will be one of the focal points of the game. Dave Thomas asked Coach Mace about facing Nathan Rourke again.
Well, yeah, I think, I'm sure if you look at, him and what he's accomplished in his time with BC, prior to leaving and coming back, you see a lot of the same things, quick decision-making, obviously comfortable in this system. You can't, they got two really good quarterbacks over there. And he found a way to get a win for them. But man, he's still Nathan Rourke, so I know some people are trying to change the narrative a bit. It's not the case.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are trying to change the narrative on Rourke. I don't think that I fall into that category. Like I said, I'm a little bit curious, uneasy on what he's done. So he's played 7 games so far, 121 completions on 186 attempts, 1,581 yards.
He's eventually going to have a breakout game.
That's what we were talking about.
And it just please, and the Riders sometimes have the worst luck when it comes to giving guys their breakout games. Please do not let it be on Saturday. We don't need him running for $125 and throwing for $350.
I disagree. I don't think he's going to have a breakout game. I think Nathan Rourke is going to go through this year as he's done, because he wasn't in camp, hasn't been there from the start, still picking up pieces of their offense as they go along. I still think he's behind the 8 ball with BC as a whole, and I don't think this weekend's going to be.
But at what point, if you're Coach Campbell, do you be like, okay, I got to stop being stubborn. Forget what the paycheck says. If they need to win that football game, Vernon Adams Jr. has to come in and play. If they're here to win, maybe would this be crazy if they rotated? Like if Rourke starts cold, VA's coming in to see where that takes them.
No.
This is a must-win for them.
It is.
It's a must-win for both teams.
Or rotate or pull him and put in VA.
Something because they've been super patient. Where VA's been healthy, the past couple weeks and could have played, and he's been a good soldier. He's saying all the right things.
You do whatever
it takes to win.
Yeah. So if Nathan's puking all over himself, VA, you're in. And if he's, the only thing is, the weather looks good. You don't want to absolutely put a guy in cold if Nathan is still playing, well enough. If he comes out and stinks up the joint, just like McLeod Bethel Thompson last weekend, I thought if he came out, stunk up the joint, they were going to go to Trey Ford. But he looked all bad. I'm going to side with you. I think our defense. I think our defense. I need a ride home, by the way. No.
So do I. If you're giving rides home, we can.
Oh man.
I think
we should have got the pizza.
Our defense can show some things, can scheme some things, hide some things, and Nathan there's a lot of rust there so far.
Williams down back, good running back.
Yep,
can get the hard yards.
Mm-hmm.
And BC has a very good receiving core, including a Justin McInnes, who is the leading receiver in the CFL. And for a few games, they ignored him once Rourke came back, but they've seemed to have found him again. And there's a lot of weapons that you have to worry about there. And at times, our secondary, they will give up the yards to not give up the big play. But BC knows how to get yards.
Coach Mace talks about how to disrupt Rourke. He talks about changing the look as much as possible.
You look at his ability to create with his legs, certainly. He's shown to be able to not have to do that. I mean, he's a great pocket passer, but having the ability to, get him off the spot, maybe flush out the offense and maybe try to make him one-dimensional, one-side read kind of deal. But he's shown to do all those things, either in his time now or previous. But like any other quarterback, we want to make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket. Maybe they have to bring some more people in to protect, maybe take somebody out of the route combination. And then just, not consistently give him the exact same thing to look at every time. So while he's still a younger quarterback, I would say, in this league, he's had quite a bit of games, and he's played against some really good defenses as well, and they've had success. So we got to be another week. We have to be on our A game against a really good quarterback.
You guys, you talked about it. We'll go right to the next clip, and then we'll come out of it. But okay. Coach Mace also talked about former Rider receiver Justin McInnes, who in the game earlier, he had 14 catches, 243 yards, and 1 TD. Here's Mace on McInnes.
Yeah, I mean, we could maybe the wrong guy to ask because we didn't do a very good job the last time. But he's a tremendous player. It's such a huge target for them to go up and get the ball. We just got to be cognizant of where he's at, obviously, on the field and making sure that, maybe have a couple extra eyes on that guy. But, you do that, and that could open up somebody else, which, similar to our receiving core, I think, they got a lot of guys in that, receiving core in that room that could make a lot of plays as well. So just structure the defense, and he made some unbelievable plays when we played us last time. So we just got to make sure that we flip the script there, and maybe we come down with a couple of those.
Yeah, okay. Discuss.
Well, I'm from the point that maybe there's one better defensive back to play against him, right? Whether he's switching from side to side, whatever it be. Maybe they're, instead of looking at the team as a whole, maybe it's one guy. But then again, who knows which strategy they're going to take. They might switch that up as the course of the game goes on. They might start it with one guy playing in his face and then switch it up to the team aspect. But like he said, you can't put multiple eyes on him because that's going to open up a hole somewhere
Well, yeah,
else.
a lot of people have just been, put Roland Milligan, the most outstanding player in the CFL this year. Just put him on Justin McKinney. But it's not that easy because then somebody else comes open. Then you have Alexander Hollins coming open. You have Stanback out of the backfield coming open. They have a lot of options and weapons, and they haven't played great lately, but that's the thing. If they do get it all together, and that BC win earlier in the season, BC was dominant from start to finish in that game. And obviously when McInnes gets 243 yards, that's a good game, but they controlled the game from start to finish, and their Riders were never, ever really that close.
It's the old chess match, though. It's like, hey, what do you do? Okay, so you got this guy, big body, effective. Do you play man, zone around it? Do you double him? Because then you're gonna sacrifice someone. But the thing is, you hope that quarterback can't figure out quick enough on covered. Oh, he's open. You hope that it's too late.
Yeah,
that's tackle football. That's flag football. That doesn't matter.
No,
you want that quarterback to go through his progressions. How quick before you're there? If you don't get there, then you're in trouble. That's where if you're rushing 3 and then you drop everyone back, but then the problem is, and you have guys running around, and it's hard for your defensive backs.
You talked about Stanback earlier. The way to take Stanback out of the game is throw some blitzes at him earlier, make him stay in to make sure he's protecting, and take that away from them that way. But I think blitzing is as effective as anything on Rourke because he's not an exceptional runner. He's okay, but he's not Trey Ford. He's not going to run all over the field like a little jitterbug.
But like Luke said many times throughout the year, if they lose contain to the outside, Rourke, although not great, has enough mobility to get outside, and all it takes is that one step in from that DN, and if they decide to take off, and then they can capitalize and get yards, and if they put themselves in second and short, and then everything opens up for them.
How many points do we need to score? Like that's
30 at least. At least 30.
Yeah, I think it's 30.
I think it's at least 30.
What's the over-under on this? You should have the line already.
Yeah, what is this over-under?
I don't gamble.
Oh, and by the way,
I have no idea.
By the way, as someone who pays attention to the show, not only for what eyewear people are wearing.
Yeah, we'll get that out in a second.
So we didn't get conclusion or resolution. Are you still locked out of your gambling account?
No.
You paid up.
When a rash comes on, I'm going to do some live stuff for tonight's Thursday Night
No,
Football.
okay, but you did, because I think the last time, if I picked it up in my brain, you were on hold with them forever, and Sharky thinks it's because you didn't pay your bill. But don't they just charge your credit card so there is no bill? And I'm like, I know that was dumb of him to say that. I'm like, okay, well,
his account's on hold because he's in arrears.
No, that's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
You know,
it's not like the HOA. It's not like he hasn't paid his condo fees in 2 years.
True story. Brandon, who hosted on Friday from the Monday Nooner here, he got locked out of, I'm not going to say what platform he was on. He got locked out once because he was winning too much on curling.
I believe that.
Because they don't really, like, they know, but this is what I'm thinking. A lot of people think is they know and they get the odds makers, but if there was guys that really had the inside intel on curling, and then these guys were cleaning up and they got locked. There's like, whoa, something's fishy here. The jig is up.
Whenever you start winning too much, they lock you out. They slow you down.
And then I don't know if they'll be listening. This is now going back at least 10 years, if not more. Northside Confectionery on Rochdale used to be a great spot to go get Sports Select tickets on Sunday morning. And there used to be about 30 guys in there, and they're all, having a good time, chatting it up. Some guys are going in on guys' pool. Anyway, these two guys figured out that it was the one gambling platform. And this is like this. It was still kind of new. And one of them came out, and golf was delayed. Like what they were doing was delayed, so they were playing real on TV golf, and they were able to place a bet on a guy winning a hole, and it would still go through. And they know what happened. They knew what happened.
They already had the answer.
Isn't that wild? Like they won. We're talking sheets here, and then they finally figured out that our site is screwed.
Didn't that happen on British soccer in North America? You could bet on British soccer, but that the time zone screwed up, so you're actually betting after the game was over. It didn't close till the Premier League was done, and then you could still bet the games.
I think some of these sites came on. So yeah, what is that? Like, what year are we in here? 2024? So it would have been about 10 years ago. And some of these, they were coming so fast and furious. Some of these sites were super clunky and they weren't buttoned up. So these guys cleaned up on golf.
Nice.
They're like, the bet is still up and we know that
Tiger won the hole. Yeah.
Or whoever won the hole. So then they would go and hit the bet. And then it was like, they started with like, half a unit, then a full unit. And then it was just like farm, boom, farm, boom. These guys cleaned up. Good for them.
Good for them.
Yeah, I remember. And if you've ever been trapped at a gas station or a convenience store on a Sunday morning at about 10 to 11 with a bunch of degenerates in line in front of you, you're like, what is taking so long? That's everybody trying to put their picks in for the day
for their NFL picks.
They got a formula or a system, and they're going to clean up while their wife and kids are at home and they're ignoring them.
It was always the 7-Elevens. Anything with like lots of Slurpees and kids. There was the odd day that you go in late and the lineup, there was only one worker, and it's like, can you please put these in? And everyone in the line thinks you're an absolute D-bag. And it's like, sorry, it closes at 11. I need to get these slips in. I understand you guys have a bunch of confectionery goods here.
I know that ice cream's going to melt, but if this doesn't get in, we got a bigger problem.
So the over-under. I think that's where we started here. Well, what do you guys think it is?
55.
I was going to say 58.
You two pigeons want to play?
The double C's? What do you say?
49.5.
Curtis doesn't even pay attention.
Here's one. Sorry, what are we talking about?
Sports. We're talking about football. We're talking the Riders over under. How many points are going to be scored on Saturday? Riders and Lions. Over under. A combined total.
I'm going to say it's a low game. It's going to be under 50.
Okay, so the line is set at 50.5.
Okay.
I think that's low.
I think that's low.
Yeah.
Forecast still looking good. Weatherman Colson. Yeah. Speaking of locked out of apps, I'm locked out of the Weather Network app, and seriously,
how do you get locked out of the Weather Network?
And it's not good. Like, I did something wrong here. Unable to launch app for security reasons, or our application can no longer be run on your device.
What do you do on that thing?
That's serious stuff, man.
Saturday, maybe a little windy, but...
Isn't it supposed to be like 8 or 10 degrees by kickoff?
Yeah. Yeah, we're looking for 10 or 11 degrees, little wind.
So 50 could be low.
Saturday, 5 p.m. kickoff, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 11 degrees. By 8 p.m. we'll be down to 7. So pretty standard fall football.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds like a great day.
Speaking of fall football, let's talk high school football when we get
Love
back. It is the all-new Sports Cage on the home of football in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
Did you know it's the best time of year to buy your Claws 2025 equipment? Get incredible savings with early order offers, like $20,000 off Lexion combines, $15,000 off Xerion tractors, $10,000 off Axion tractors, $15,000 off Jaguar harvesters, and $6,000 off Arion tractors. Make the best of every harvest with Claws, made for more. For full products and availability, visit claws.com.
Your friends at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea have exactly what you need this fall. From muzzle loaders, rifles to shotguns, you are totally covered this hunting season. Plus, browse through their great selection of ammunition, optics, calls, trail cams, scents, knives, and more. The hunting store that has it all at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea. You have a friend in the game. Main Street, Avonlea, or check out prairieguntraders.ca.
Lots of people out there are worried that they're running out of time. Hi, I'm Brian Golly. The average 50-year-old has roughly 15 years left to maximize investment returns before they start to draw their retirement income. You know that GIC rates won't get you where you need to be. You need a solid investment plan, and you need it now.
Invest with confidence and make smart investment decisions. Get Brian Golly working for you and build a solid investment plan that you can rely on. Call Brian at 546-2533 today.
Winter brings tougher driving weather, and that means it's time to winter up those tires on your vehicle. Regina Motor Products has got an offer that will make your ride safer and your wallet happier. Before you hit the snowy open road, get your tires swapped for winter, with rebates as high as $120 off a full set of winter tires. You don't want to wait. Book now and be ready for all that cold stuff. Visit rmpchevrolet.com.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sports Cage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
If you're watching the stream, Sharky now has his sunglasses on.
I'm ready now. Got my Roy Orbison look going.
Look at this fella right here.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go Roy Orbison. You have way too little hair to be a Roy Orbison. Roy had nice hair. You know who I saw last night when they were the Oiler game? Glenn Gullitson. Man, does he have a nice head of hair as an older man.
I'm not comfortable having this conversation.
I'm in between two bald fellows if you're watching the stream with sunglasses on.
No, Colson's put them on.
Colson's got shades?
Colson's got shades too. I like it.
Curtis, is just you and I. I don't have any shades. I do have a thick head of hair though.
You do.
Yeah, whatever.
And Curtis has a thick head of hair. Colson, what do you got? What do you got under
Colson
that hat?
he wears a hat a lot.
You got a few divots unreplaced?
Oh,
no, you got good
I'm
hair
fine.
too. You got solid hair. Okay, high school football.
Yes.
Tomorrow, our Friday Night Lights game of the week for Regina Motor Products. It is going to be Lumsden Shaunavon, undefeated. We are going to talk to somebody from that contest tomorrow, 4 p.m. down in Shaunavon. Get there earlier if you want a good spot.
Good seats still available.
No, it's going to be packed. It'll be absolutely buzzing in Shaunavon tomorrow, 4 o'clock, guaranteed. Thank you, Jamie, for messaging in hi@sportscage.com, because I was just going to mention that Wynyard this evening is hosting Wynyard.
Yes.
No, because I heard you say last week you couldn't pronounce Hague either, and Sharky corrected you.
Hague.
Well, you didn't
say it like that last week.
Hague. Sticklers. I can call it. It's Hague.
You said Hague.
Anyways, Wynyard this evening, 7 p.m. Note the change of time. It is under the lights as Southey and Cupar, the Highway 22. Last night had a chance to watch him play. He won't be back for now 2 years if he comes back. Like, I guess he's still only 17. But
17,
he
yep.
could get moved around. You never know because Everett, the Pats go there next year. So, I guess he's legit.
And this is where, and I'm going to take a page out of the college sports book because that's been a hot topic where, these kids are going to have the choice to go to these schools. Could you imagine at a hockey school the kind of NIL money he could attract? Like, we're talking like what the football money is. If you're a North Dakota or if you're a Minnesota, if you're a hockey powerhouse, if the NIL thing comes into play and you can just freely go wherever you wanted to, you're still going to end up in the NHL. Why wouldn't you if you're an 18-year-old kid?
Wasn't that supposed to get ruled on this week?
But they pushed it back.
Did they? Okay.
But there was, get this today, my insider sent it to me. He's Noah Kosick has left Sioux Falls in the USHL. He's going to be joining the Calgary Hitmen. So why Noah would be playing in Sioux Falls is because he's got a fast track. He's committed to Michigan already.
Yeah.
So he's committed to Michigan. Michigan wants a big hockey school. Michigan.
Is he drafted?
I don't know. You can look that up.
Okay. He's not much of an insider.
You could look that up.
Well, I only have what the notes my insider sent me here, Sharky. So he's leaving the USHL. He's got his full ride. He's going to play in Calgary. I think that's going to happen here a lot.
But why would he do that? Because
he wants to play in the Western Hockey League.
Oh.
Colson's telling us we got a break. You looking it up?
Yeah.
Is he drafted?
I can't see through my sunglasses.
You can't see because you're wearing sunglasses inside, you pigeon. It's the all-new Sports Cage. Time for news. We come back after. We'll talk with Arash Madani. We get some gambling tips from Arash Madani.
They haven't been good.
Thanks for tuning in at sportscage.com or on 620 CKRM.
Enjoy a feast of deals on your favorite gear at the Thanksgiving sale, on now at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Save more on your favorite outdoor activities with deals on hunting, camping, and ice fishing gear from brands like Tacticam, Bradley, Eskimo, and more. And get additional firearm storage with the trusted, electronically secured Cabela's 34-gun navy blue safe. Now $650 off. Explore the outdoors this fall and save at the Thanksgiving sale on now at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. See online for more details.
Step right up to the greatest auto sale at Capital Ford Lincoln. See the amazing weekly Ringmaster specials. Find a better deal on any new Ford and we'll give you $1,000 in cold hard cash. Introducing Cash for Clunkers, guaranteeing a minimum $3,000 for your trade. Bring the whole family down for food, games, and your chance to win thousands in amazing prizes. Hurry, hurry, hurry to the greatest auto sale at Capital Ford Lincoln.
Hospitals of Regina Foundation Home Lottery Convertible and Cali bonus prize deadline is midnight tomorrow. It's our biggest bonus prize ever with a BMW Cabriolet convertible and a Dream California vacay. Or take $100,000 plus be in for the Echo Lake Cottage Early Bird and the $1.4 million grand prize package, including the Ripplinger Show Home and $25,000. Buy now at hrfhomelottery.com. License LR24-0046.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. It's mostly cloudy and it's 16 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Sherwood Co-op Liquor Store. Now open in Harbor Landing and on Rochdale Boulevard, and by Mercedes-Benz Regina for those who can. Mercedes-Benz-Regina.ca. Saskatchewan NDP leader Carla Beck says her province's future lies in the balance and is pleading with Conservative supporters to vote Orange on October 28th. She told reporters today that she's heard from people who feel the reigning Saskatchewan party is leaving people behind. Beck says the race is tighter than ever, but is hopeful that her party can win.
And I say this to those voters out there in Saskatchewan wanting change. We don't have to agree on everything to agree on this. We all deserve better.
Beck says she's promising to make life affordable by pausing the gas tax and removing sales tax from kids' clothes and some grocery items. Saskatchewan Party leader Scott Moe says he would get tough on crime and shut down nuisance properties if he's re-elected on October 28th. Moe says he would give police more authority to tackle intoxication, vandalism, and other disturbances on public property. He says the measure would give officers the power to remove people from businesses on a case-by-case basis without needing permission.
You should be able to walk down the street in your community, go shopping at the mall, or play with your children or grandchildren at the local playground without fear or worry.
Mo says the legislation would also let officers address abandoned buildings that have been broken into or have trespassers squatting inside. Strong winds over the weekend caused some crop damage in Saskatchewan, particularly to canola and oats. Farmers reported shelling damage and swaths of canola and hay being blown around, creating harvesting challenges. Additionally, migratory birds caused minor damage to the limited unharvested crops. As harvest wraps up, farmers are busy with field work, including baling, fall spraying, and preparing livestock for winter. The public is reminded to stay cautious on roads as farm machinery continues to move between fields. The skies appear to be all clear for Air Canada's pilots. The Airline Pilots Association says its members have voted 67% in favor of a new tentative contract, easing any fears of an immediate strike. The deal grants the carrier's 5,400 pilots a cumulative wage hike of nearly 42% over 4 years. But roughly one-third of the pilots still voted to reject the agreement, revealing a divide over issues such as scheduling and a large pay gap between newer employees and more experienced flight crews. And U.S. President Joe Biden and American Vice President Kamala Harris were briefed today on the initial aftermath of Hurricane Milton. The president called it devastating.
President Biden said while it's too early to know the full account of the damage from Hurricane Milton, life-saving measures made a difference and search and rescue teams have been ready. The president says he's been on the phone with state and local officials, offering everything they need.
FEMA is going to open disaster recovery centers all across the impacted communities right away. So there's one stop the residents can go to learn about the support they might need, and they'll be advertised where those places are.
Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
The luxury of Mercedes-Benz has never been more within reach with the fall demo event at Mercedes-Benz Regina. Save up to $32,000 on select models like the luxurious EQE 350. Get the premium performance and elegance Mercedes-Benz is known for, but with unmatched value when you choose certified pre-owned. Take advantage of the opportunity to experience the Mercedes-Benz you've always dreamed of, without compromise. Book your test drive at Mercedes-Benz Regina.
This Turkey Alert is brought to you by Sherwood Co-op Food Stores.
Thanksgiving will soon be here.
We hope you'll be surrounded by family and an amazing Thanksgiving feast.
And if you forgot anything at all,
cranberry sauce. People always forget the cranberry sauce.
We're here to help.
From all of our families at Sherwood Co-op to our owners around the dinner table, happy Thanksgiving. We are members.
We are owners.
We are Sherwood Co-op.
Can someone please pass the stuffing?
It's 4:04, and now it's time for your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast for Linex Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McHarris Street, and brought to you by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialists in Grenfell, servicing all sizes of trucks, SGI accredited. Tonight will be mainly clear with a low of 0. Tomorrow, sun mixing with some cloud and a high of 15. And on Saturday, partly sunny and a high of 13. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's mostly cloudy. Winds are from the northwest at 26, gusting to 39, and it's 17. Regina is also mostly cloudy. Winds from the northwest at 30, gusting to 40, and it's 16. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
Whether Smokies after you or not, when you're on the road in your big rig, you're in a hurry to get to where you're going, and you need a part shop you can trust. Wolf Industries is the premium choice. They're your family-run truck mechanic shop with a full line of parts for big semis, with certified AC technicians for the hot summer. Stop in at their Grenfell location for all the parts and repairs you need. They're SGI accredited for safety inspections and have 24-hour emergency call-out. Wolf Industries, the best for your truck. 10-4.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McHarris Street.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Access Communications.
Segment brought to you by Comic Book Store, which is also cut from the same mold.
If you ever get called a dark match jobber by somebody, just know that that's not good. That's not an endearing term.
No, it's actually, I watched it the full thing. McMahon.
Oh, are you talking Vince McMahon?
The Netflix show.
Netflix show.
McMahon.
Okay.
It's
Oh, he's a scumbag.
It's good,
smart, good businessman, but he's a scumbag in real life.
What I'm trying to say, comeback. Like, he was dead to rights.
Yes.
By WCW. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was 82 weeks, I think it was. Listen, if Alan Lee, who works here at the radio station, is one of our technical producers or whatever, he loves wrestling, and it was for the longest time WCW, Monday Nitro, and the Monday Night Wars. They beat WWF Raw, and then eventually, once the tide turned, WWF never went back. They won and kept winning, and Vince ended up buying the company.
But they should have never have stepped off there. They kind of rested on their laurels, and then the WWE or whatever kind of comes back, and I had no idea, because I was a wrestling nerd in like the 80s when like the figurines were big and all that.
Yep.
And it was like, Brutus the Barber and the British Bulldogs and the Killer Bees.
I know,
terrible Terry Funk.
I know Arash is waiting, but later on this hour we'll circle back. I'll tell you the story of when I met The Rock. Before he was The Rock, but he wasn't as big as The Rock.
He isn't a Rock. He was just The Rock.
Yeah, he was just the Rock then. But yeah.
The all-new Sports Cage and Coast to Coast with Arash Madani is brought to you by Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Golly at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
If you're watching the stream, sportscage.com, our man Arash Madani is outside again. We have an outside event here. Arash, who is your favorite wrestler of all time?
I got to tell you, boys, I was listening in, and I'm dead serious. I was at the Montreal Screwjob.
Nice.
I was sitting on the visitors bench at the then Molson Center in Montreal. I was a first-year student at Bishop's, and I was, at that time, I was all in on wrestling. And then I'm like, wait a minute here. Something just doesn't feel right. And I didn't see Brett spit on Vince, but I saw him do the WCW, right in the middle of the ring, because he was pointing right at us, right? Sitting in the visitors bench. And I'm like, whoa, something big has happened here. And honestly, that was the night that I started to I lost my love of the business.
That was the start of the breakup.
Well, no, because that Montreal Screwjob for 2 decades, because there was so much of the unknown and for a long time, and it's coming out now, sort of what happened from all sides. But even the Undertaker now is saying, he kind of knew, and Shawn Michaels, who denied it for the longest time, is like, I knew.
You have to watch the documentary. There's like a large
Wrestling with Shadows.
A large portion of our audience right now going, what are these guys talking about?
Yeah.
You gotta. So if you watch it, it'll all make sense.
Everybody secretly loves wrestling.
I had no idea what the Montreal Screwjob was until I watched it last week. So we'll get on with that. The question I have: how many?
Just stop it, Barney. Barney, I want to go into the weeds real quick because I see Maz is his eyes lit up on this. Okay, now hold up. I was watching something recently. Maybe it was the Dark Side of the Ring or something, and they were talking about how that could have been a work, the entire thing, because when the bell rang, the camera went to Brett, not the guy who won the belt, but to Brett. Like, is this like, and look, we live now in a conspiracy theory world, of course. So like, why not? Let's roll back the clock to 1997. Could that actually have been a work? Could like, was Brett in on it, knowing he was going to WCW, knowing that he was in Canada, knowing like on the way out doing business for Vince in a different way to create the character of Mr. McMahon, to build Vince's ego, especially now that we watch this Netflix doc and see what Vince is all about? Could that have been a thing? I don't know.
Sharky's so lost right now.
I'm just waiting. I got to go home now. I want to watch the Netflix.
Well, no, I wouldn't put it past him. And even if it's because now, Arash, you know this, infamously, Vince ended up getting a black eye. But Vince knows what's good for business, and if that means taking a punch to the face for millions of dollars to get a black eye, he would do it because he is that's who he is.
Good on his wife, Linda. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Wow. To put up with that guy for all those years. Last question on wrestling I have for you, Arash. How many lucky loggers before that evening in Montreal?
That was a Colt 45 kind of night, Barney. You know what I mean?
Hey, speaking of guzzling, a lot of people will be doing it tonight. Plaza of Honor here in Regina, big day. Darian Durant going in doubles. We talk to him every Monday. What's in your mind? What's his legacy as a rider?
Well, and this is to me, Ron Lancaster is the greatest rider of them all from a quarterback standpoint, because he has to be. But Darian Durant provided the greatest moment in Riders history, because I know Corey Sheets ran for all the yards that night. But to win a championship at home, especially in the old place, you know, and especially as we get older and nostalgia rolls in, Darian Durant provided the franchise, the city, the province, the brand with its greatest championship ever. And that is the legacy. Like, no matter what happens over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, I think anybody like that, to me, that was the peak of Rider Nation. And there was this build up from 2007 all the way to this crescendo. And if you were there that night, and I was lucky enough to be there, and if you were in the city that week, and I was fortunate enough there, I remember going to a bar the night before, shocking, I know, but like out of nowhere, the DJ started playing Green is the Color, and all these strangers just united like arm in arm, and I'm thinking to myself, where the hell am I? And when you're the franchise quarterback, that's what you do. You unite a fan base, a province, and you bring a championship home, and that's what Darian Durant did.
Anything, like, when you go back to that game in 2013, and you were there, and you brought it up, what's, like, the one thing that stands out for you?
Well, I'll tell you, it's that right there. Well, if you're watching on the web stream, they signed Geroy Simon, and Geroy was a bit part for the regular season and the playoffs. And then in the biggest game in maybe the history of the franchise, you know, a championship game at home, 81 not only got in the end zone once, but that sucker got in the end zone twice. Like, we saw Superman twice. Mm-hmm. And yes, again, Corey Sheets ran for all the yards, and the Riders may have gotten fined because they didn't come out one by one. They wanted to come out for the intros united. But Geroy just took that game over.
Thanks, Curtis.
And it was almost like, and I don't want to compare, like, I don't want to call them Montana or Rice, but for a night, they were a battery. They were pitcher and catcher. They were in lockstep with one another. And that's why I love vets on a roster who have won before. That when you know what it takes to win in a championship game, you can do it. And Durant to Simon that night, nobody was stopping them. Look, the Rider defense probably won the Riders that game. Corey Sheets was instrumental in it. But again, I'm using another John Gibbons line. There's the second touchdown for those watching on the web stream. In nut cutting time, they went to the old guy on the roster who won himself yet another championship, and that's why Giroy should be right there in Rider lore too.
Watching those highlights, that sure takes back. If you're
Pretty
watching
cool.
the
it's pretty cool.
the stream. Big news.
By the way, I don't know who the producer is cutting up those edits and highlight packs, but that was almost like we had scripted it, and we hadn't even talked about Giroy coming into this, so that was outstanding. We had both Giroy touchdowns queued up. That was good stuff right there.
Curtis, he's like a minder. He's like
Curtis,
he's like a young
shout out.
Ravine.
Yeah.
Grey
His
Cup.
favorite word. He's the GOAT.
Yeah, he is the GOAT. Grey Cup airing on CBS Sports Network. I saw that on the socials today. Is that a good thing for the CFL? I'm not. You'd be more up to speed on what the CBS Sports Network can bring.
Yeah, this is actually an amazing thing, fellas.
Okay.
Because for the last few years coming out of COVID, in the past, the CFL had to deal with ESPN, then NFL Network, then ESPN, and then they went to CBS. But the thing with CBS was, once Labor Day rolled around, they have college football on. They have the NFL on. They're not really interested in the Canadian game. For CBS Sports Network is not the main one. They're not the ones showing, Oregon, Ohio State this weekend or whatever. But what they're the fact that it's going to be on linear TV is a big step forward for the CFL, because for the last 2 or 3 years, it's just been digital. Like, Barney, you know me. Like, I'm interested in trying to find a way to pin the Kennedy assassination on Randy Ambrosi. But, like, this was a big step forward for the league in the U.S. because now, beyond just family and friends who are going to catch the web stream, this is a chance, your championship game, to be on display. Now, why does that matter? Well, for a 6:30 Eastern start, basically from 7:15 Eastern till 8:30 when Sunday Night Football starts, there's a void out there. And there is an opportunity for a couple more million Americans who may never have seen the CFL before to get a glimpse of it. It's a chance to give yourself a little bit more credibility that this is a big move for the CFL, and that's a big win for them when they haven't had a lot of wins in the US market the last few years.
So, Arash, as a Rider fan and a bit of a crazed member of Rider Nation, it doesn't take much to tweak me anytime the Winnipeg Blue Bombers do anything, like post on social media. But
Hey,
did you hear?
Curtis, we just get? I think Curtis, I'm not hearing these guys. Can we just turn this up a little bit?
Okay.
I think these guys are on mute, Curtis.
Here's the thing. And I don't know if this was a marketing decision or if this is somebody going rogue, but the Bombers have now changed their hashtag from For the W. Now it's hashtag For the Dynasty. Did we miss something somewhere that now all of a sudden they're a dynasty? Don't you have to win all the Grey Cups you're in to become a dynasty before you declare yourself one?
Oh man, Maz. Okay. Like, I'm just going to be honest here, okay? I worked for the Bombers.
I know you did. That's why I'm
ago.
saying this. I know. That's why I'm saying this.
And deep down, I have an affinity for them. I still have some friends in the organization, especially a few of the people who work in the trenches every day. When you lose back-to-back Grey Cups, that's not a dynasty.
I know.
Right? Like who are we trying to fool here? Look, I understand getting to 5 in a row is a real achievement. And if you win 3 and 5, that's cool. You're not a dynasty. You're not. I'm sorry. It can't be. It's a smart marketing slogan. It's a good marketing campaign. It's a way to try and create a narrative.
Well, you triggered me and everybody else.
You can't lose back-to-back, Maz. You can't be 1 and 2 in your last 3 and call yourself a dynasty.
I think it just indicates that Winnipeg doesn't know what's going on. They are not a dynasty. They've called themselves something. What else are they pretending to be? That whole city, what else is it pretending to be? That's my point. I'm leaving it there.
So this is what I wonder, fellas. Like, I could stand here, and I don't think BC's very good, but I could stand here and make a case for the Lions getting to the Grey Cup. and winning, and I can make a case for the Lions getting there and losing. I can make a case for the Bombers winning and losing. I can make a case for Toronto doing the same, Montreal doing the same. I can't, honestly, I'm sorry, I can't make a case for the Riders winning the whole thing right now, even as well as Trevor's playing right now. But
why?
Oh, speaking of triggered, hello.
No, why? Why not them? What?
Who's the last quality team they've beaten?
Winnipeg or Saskatchewan?
Yeah, the Riders. It's
they were in every game. They lost by a rouge.
If they win this week, okay, I'll take them. I'll consider them in the conversation.
So what don't you
I
like?
just haven't seen them beat it.
Okay, so what don't you like? Why aren't they a championship caliber team in your eyes?
I just don't think they're a championship contender because I don't think they've beaten anybody of significance. Like, it's one thing to beat up on Edmonton and Calgary, and especially the last couple of weeks on Ottawa, etc. When they beat the Argos, it was without Chad Kelly. I just haven't seen them beat anyone of significance yet. So, look, you beat Toronto this week. You cement yourself as, okay, here we are in mid-October, we're for real. They just haven't shown to me against an opponent for real that they can beat yet.
So I have
that
a
can
question
change
for,
quick.
So I have a question for you then. I believe Winnipeg plays Toronto this week, do they not? If Winnipeg loses,
yes, sorry.
Yeah, if Winnipeg loses, the Riders win. The Riders are 1 point back of being in first place in the West. With Winnipeg having to play Montreal.
In that conversation, though, right?
I know there's a lot of ifs. There's a lot. I'm not denying there's a lot of ifs.
And they have to go to Montreal.
And but Winnipeg's got to go to Montreal.
Yeah.
And I think they learned in the preseason you can't sit guys. You got to play them because if you sit them, they're rusty when they go into the regular games.
You sit them. You definitely sit them.
And look, to me, and we've talked about this, guys. To me, what this comes down to at this point is get to Halloween, get in, be healthy, and get hot. Win a couple of games right now, and make sure you have all your horses ready. This, to me, this is why Ottawa's in big trouble. They're without a left tackle and a right tackle. I hear they're getting a couple of linebackers back. Javon Santos-Knox is coming back into the mix for them, a linebacker. That'll help. But you need to be healthy. You need to be hot to make a run. And as much as those guys down the street want to call themselves a dynasty, the one thing, other than Big Hill, they seem to be getting everybody back. And they're starting to run the ball with Oliveira a lot more, which in November football is going to matter when it's cold and it's windy and you need a run game. What do we hear on Willette? When is he going to be at full systems go? Do we know?
Well, he's available.
He's available.
He's available.
Armstead's out.
Okay, let me rephrase the question, Maz. When will he be full systems go?
Well, he's available, Arash.
He took all the first team snaps.
Exactly.
He took all the first team snaps in practice. So he's playing with the first team.
Because to me, especially prairie football, Rocky Mountain football in November, comes down to how you can bruise at the point of attack. How has Baltimore gotten itself back into the conversation in the NFL? It's because Derrick Henry's running for 400 yards in 2 games. I know Barney doesn't want to hear it.
No.
I get it.
I want to go down that in a bit.
Speaking of trigger
we just
times
talked about
too.
Darian at the top of the segment. We talked about Darian. Why'd the Riders win that game? In large part because Corey Sheets was running the football well. How you're able... Andrew Harris in 2019 when the Bombers won. Andrew Harris in 21. Oliveira getting them there in 22 and 23. Running the football matters as much as the analytics folks. It drives them crazy to hear it. So I think that's a big part of it. If Willette is available at a high level for them in November... Advantage Riders.
You go ahead.
Well, and now he's already thrown out the Baltimore thing, and we were talking about your betting app and how you're doing and everything else. They host the Commanders. The Commanders have played exceptionally well with a rookie quarterback. What happens this week against Washington?
It's an awesome question. It might be the game of the season so far. We have not seen Jaden Daniels blink yet. We have not seen Jaden Daniels hiccup yet. We have not seen anything wrong with Jaden Daniels yet. Could the Baltimore defense do something there? Maybe. How do you bet against this kid?
Barney, how do we bet against him?
You deposit money into an account, and then you... Here's the thing,
Barney,
with Baltimore.
Just think, if the Patriots had lost 2 more games, he could have been yours last year.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have taken him.
No. They would have butchered that somehow. I can't be that hard on him. We had a good run. Here's the thing with Baltimore, and I know some Baltimore fans, and I don't get it because it's going to happen. Derrick Henry, yes, he is going to be so banged up and ineffective come January, as will Jackson, that it's not going to matter. If you don't load manage those two somehow, some way, and I know it's not done, and it's not done that often in the NFL, but they have to figure out a way, because you can beat Kansas City. There's no doubt about it. But those guys are going to be so banged up come December, let alone January. They have to figure out a way to sit them when they're playing teams that they just got to beat. I don't know. I watch it every week, and
Hey,
I feel bad.
Sharky,
Yes.
Can the record show that what are we today? The 8th day of the 10th month of the 2024th year.
Yes.
Your co-host just came up with the most intelligent statement I've ever heard him utter in Sportscage.
Wow, this interview is all
He is bang on.
You know what?
He
I
is
just heard from the guys
bang
we've
on.
lost
you
the
need
tape.
a healthy Derrick Henry in January. Sit
lost
the
the
guy
tape.
here and there. It will do them good. That's Barney. You are absolutely right. I can't
How
believe
he's
you
not
said it.
coaching
Well
in the
done.
NFL, he's sitting beside me, is another question altogether. He clearly
I don't
should be
have
somewhere else.
I don't have the network.
Okay, but this is simply it, because remember...
Sharky kind of you know what? Between Maz and Sharky, they kind of look like Robert Saleh. Like one of you guys can go coach the Jets.
Hey, listen, we get Aaron Rodgers or whatever. I love that. I love Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I talked to Woody Johnson, but we didn't talk about Robert Saleh. How do you not talk?
That's right.
You talk to the owner, and he gets the coach gets fired the next day, but you didn't talk about it.
He didn't even know it was happening. He didn't even know.
I know. So as far as injuries goes, because before the season, everybody penciled San Francisco in to be in the Super Bowl again this year. But then look, real football happens and injuries, and the 49ers are coming into the game tonight against Seattle at 2-3. And it's almost like, man, they've run into a lot of hard luck. It's not that easy. And maybe San Fran's going through it now, and by the end of the season, their fortunes will change. But they're talking about Christian McCaffrey never coming back, because that trip to Germany, they're like, well, that didn't really work. So now what do you do?
Yeah.
And they just keep losing guys. And tonight in Seattle, the Geno Smith show,
coming off I lost 2 of my survivors, FYI.
Yeah. But
Seattle.
here's the thing, fellas. Like Seattle starts 3-0 and they lose their last 2. You know, like last year after 5 weeks, Miami was the darling of the league, and what they do, lose their last 6 or something like that.
Yep.
It's we're so caught up with trying to forecast what January and February is going to look like, when in reality we have no idea, especially with injuries now. I don't know. I can't count out San Francisco yet, just because if capital I, capital F, there's that word again, if their top end talent is back and healthy by late November, early December, are we really going to count them out?
No.
I think Kansas City taught us a big lesson last year. They lost 3 of 4 in December. They were humiliated on Christmas against the Raiders. And we're saying to ourselves, they're toast. It's over. It's done. They got to go into Buffalo. They got to go into Baltimore. There's no way they're winning those games. Next thing we know, Mahomes is holding up the trophy and Kelsey's singing Viva Las Vegas.
The one thing I will say to that, San Francisco might be too far behind by the time those guys get back. If they don't put something together soon, they'll be out of the mix.
Look at the intelligent conversation we're having.
Well, and here's the other thing,
Who are you buying in the NFL?
Well,
who are you buying in the NFC right now? If you're going to buy stock in a team in the NFC, honestly, that you think is going to the Super Bowl, who is it?
It's your Vikings.
Minnesota.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
it's your
there we
Vikings.
go.
School.
And since hashtag school. And since you mentioned the Raiders, I would like to say, hey, Davante Adams, maybe Josh McDaniels wasn't 100% of the problem. Maybe you were a little bit of the problem too, because Antonio Pierce, who by all accounts was the player's coach, and he was going to come in and he was this guy, and it was completely different. And here we are. You're unhappy again, so maybe this is a little bit on you.
Maybe it's a you problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Josh McDaniels isn't the devil that everybody made him out to be. He wanted to win, and he lost a quarterback. You lose Derek Carr, and
I know you wanted to touch on this quickly, but it is significant and historic. Rafael Nadal calling it a career.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, guys. The one thing about Nadal leaving is kind of like when Federer retired, too. When you think about tennis over the last 25 years, when you think about golf over the last 25 years, it's been Fed, it's been Nadal, it's been Djokovic. It's been Tiger, it's been Mickelson, and maybe Rory. Tiger and Mickelson are pretty much toast. Now, I guess Scheffler. But I think tennis is in big trouble now. Because other than maybe Carlos Alcaraz, nobody really moves the needle. Like, what we just saw here is a dude who won 14 majors at one venue. He won 14 French Opens. We will never see that happen again. He won 5 of them without dropping a set the entire time. We just watched one of the greatest careers of any athlete in any sport just wrap up, and he won what many call the greatest tennis match ever played. The Wimbledon final of 2008 against Federer went 5 sets. It was a marathon. He won that 16 years ago, and he was a vet 16 years ago. The career longevity is pretty amazing.
It is.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Quite
you're
a story.
You're a tennis guy. I know that. No, it is like I'm not a tennis guy, but that guy, like, what an amazing career. Okay, we've gone really long today, but we had a lot of fun. I know you're outside. I didn't ask where. Are you anywhere near the Texas School Book Depository?
Am I anywhere near what? Sorry, Barney?
What?
The Texas School Book Depository. Since you're trying to pin a certain something on somebody, it's a famous building in the Kennedy assassination.
Well, wait a minute.
Man,
I see a guy who kind of looks like the commissioner. Forget it.
Yeah. All right. Talk to you next week. Go Riders.
Thanks,
See you,
Raj.
boys.
Yeah.
if you didn't just Google that, would you have
did.
any idea about the JFK assassination?
Yes, I've been there. And we did the night tour.
Okay.
We didn't do the night tour. We paid the guy that's like a local. It's a street guy. And he's like, hey, pay me. I'll give you the better. And we did. And it was night. And it was awesome. And he took us to the book depository. Then you kind of go where the grassy knoll was. And
It's
then
gone?
the picket fence and all that. Yeah, it's like there's like a monument-ish kind of thing. Oh, yeah, I was there. And then there's an X right on the street where it went down. It's eerie to do it at night.
There was a shooter on the grassy knoll. I guarantee you. I've fired a lot of guns in my life. There was a shooter on the grassy knoll.
It's a whole other... We've gone really long here. This is a lot of fun. It is the all-new Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
You get home from work, and as soon as you open the door, you realize, oh, this place smells like shocking surprise. You've got sewer problems. Let's be honest, sewer problems literally stink. You need to call someone who will get your sewer situation all sorted out. You need the sewer experts at Bronco Plumbing and Heating. They're number one in the number two business. Bronco Plumbing and Heating, serving Regina, Moose Jaw, and the surrounding area. 306-781-2090. Give them a call. They'll treat you right.
There she is. There.
What are you waiting for?
Gun's jammed.
We better get to TNT Gunworks.
TNT Gunworks in Regina is your trusted source in Saskatchewan for guns, ammunition, hunting supplies, and has an on-site gunsmith that services rifles and shotguns. They've got the biggest selection and the best price.
Son of a gun.
That's the spirit.
Stop in at TNT Gunworks just off Albert on 4th Avenue North, Regina.
Welcome to the greatest GM certified pre-owned auto sale. We are the largest used vehicle retailer in the area and largest certified Cadillac dealer in Canada, with over 150 pre-owned trucks and SUVs, with all makes and models in stock, low mileage vehicles, and even lower prices with low rates and financing available on all GM certified vehicles, plus roadside assistance and a 150 plus point inspection. The greatest GM certified pre-owned auto sale at the Capital Auto Mall on the corner of Pasqua and Rochdale in Regina.
Howdy, it's your old pal Wood Country Woody here. Building a fence or corral? Of course you are. That's why y'all need to be seeing the good folks down at Wood Country. Wood Country's your one-stop fencing shop with everything you need right now. Heeled rails, slabs, rough-cut lumber, fence posts, and barbed wire. Get on into Wood Country. Post-haste. In McLean, Estevan, and Tisdale.
Your home is your castle.
Shop online, wood-country.com.
Hospitals of Regina Foundation Home Lottery Convertible and Cali bonus prize deadline is midnight tomorrow. It's our biggest bonus prize ever, with a BMW Cabriolet convertible and a Dream California vacay. Or take $100,000 plus be in for the Echo Lake Cottage Early Bird and the $1.4 million grand prize package, including the Ripplinger Show home and $25,000. Buy now at hrfhomelottery.com. License LR24-0046.
The all-new Sportscage NASCAR Report. Robin is Racing is brought to you by Croft Electric. 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all of your electrical needs. Visit croftelectric.com and on all socials.
Well, my favorite track, Talladega, did not disappoint. One of the tracks provides the most speed, also provides the greatest chance for trouble. And with 4 to go, a major pileup eliminated 23 cars from the race.
Jeez.
Like, NASCAR was actually confused of how they were going to finish the end of that race. The lead cars were bumper to bumper, and while passing a lap car, they tightened up, and Keselowski pushed the back end of leader Austin Cindric, spinning him at 200 miles an hour. There are not many places to go.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, when you saw the clips on social media, and I was well, no, at first I had thought, I'm like, this is from like 10 or 15 years ago. And I'm like, no, this just happened.
That was Sunday.
Like, well, no. And like I'd said to you, although the championship, the top guys are decided, but if you don't finish the races, those points are important because it's all money and it's all standings, and whether or not you're going to get dropped by a sponsor, it's all of those small little things that the average fan, if you're a NASCAR fan, you know about this stuff, but to the average person, you're like, well, what's the big deal if you don't finish?
So the crash was really harmful to Joey Logano and Austin Cindric and Chase Briscoe. So those three fell out of the field at 12, so they're now below the cut line. Chase Elliott, who was also in the crash, stayed just above. He's got a 13-point bump on Logano right now with 1 race to go before we get to the field of 8. So a photo finish showed Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as the winner. That's the best thing he's done since he was dating Danica Patrick.
What do we think of Danica Patrick? Because I remember her when she raced cars, and she doesn't race anymore, and you just see her in interviews. I like her. Like, she seems like
she was fine for the sport.
Yeah, she's fine for the sport. She seems level-headed. I mean, she dated Aaron Rodgers for a while. Maybe there's
some issues. Like she's got issues, right?
The one thing that this goes back as kids growing up in Saskatchewan. Your dad usually was the linchpin to your loyalty to whatever vehicle brand you were going to drive. If you were a Chev guy, you were a Chev guy. If you're a Ford guy, you're a Ford guy. All of that. So William Byron in the 24, which to me that is always going to be
a Chev car. Yeah.
Well, no.
And a Hendrick car.
Yeah, and exactly. And it is a Chev. Chris Bell's in a Toyota. Kyle Larson's a Chev. Danny Hamlin's that Toyota. And Alex Bowman rounds out the top 5 in a Chev as well. And it's funny that they dominate because, like, for the longest time, like, I remember when Toyota Toyota got into racing, all of the American brands are like, what are you doing? There's never a chance you will ever be anywhere. Dude, we are going 19 layers deep in this NASCAR report, Barney.
I'm just sitting here thinking of my Toyota MR2 I had. It was a great vehicle.
There is no Dodge Chryslers in NASCAR.
Shout out Saudi mainline Chrysler.
Yeah. But they don't have any NASCARs. So we got 1 race to go in the field of 12. It's the end of the second stage, and they're going to Charlotte to race on a Roval. So a Roval, if you don't know, and I think we've got do we have the caption coming up? Do we have the clip? No. Curtis is looking at me with a blank look. It's got
You need
17
a smart aleck comment? He's got it. You need that graphic? No deal.
I only got Darian Durant, so
So 17 corners, 2 chicanes. If you don't know what a chicane is, it's a really tight corner.
I've never heard of that in my life.
So this is a completely different race. Considering we're in the playoffs, this is going to be very, very exciting.
Big chicane guy.
Yeah, you got to know what a chicane is.
I hate these road courses because to me that's F1. Like, let them drive. Let them drive at 200 miles an hour and just turn left and, like, to the best driver win. I hate these road races.
I agree with you. I don't like them either. They're bad for the fans. You don't see the whole race the same. But it's going to be a big race Sunday because 4 guys are going to get eliminated from the playoffs.
Shout out Croft Electric, rubbing his race and
There we
NASCAR
go.
report.
Hats
if you're
on.
watching the stream.
Well, no, but I have a question for Sharky first.
Go ahead.
Does he follow Dirty Mo Media on Instagram?
No, I've very limited.
So that
Instagram
is
capabilities.
Dale Jr.'s Instagram channel, and he puts out some good content, always interviewing drivers, because Dale Earnhardt Jr. he's the son of royalty. Like, Dale Sr. is the guy for most NASCAR fans. And he talks about, and the great is, he had it all because he grew up royalty. And he kind of blew his chance until he got to Hendrick.
Yeah.
And then he got taught how to be a professional. And he talks about all that. He interviews these guys, and they go back to the good old days. But the best driver ever in NASCAR, although it's fictional, is still Cole Trickle Jr.
Oh, I don't know. What's Talladega Nights? Ricky Bobby. Big Ricky Bobby fan.
What's the word? I already forgot it. What's it called? Not a charcuterie.
Chicanery.
Chicane. It's a chicane.
Chicane.
But I will say this: you mentioned the top 5. 3 of those drivers are Hendricks drivers.
How am I doing?
Yeah.
You're still in the mix. We got to get Crofty to give us some official point standings.
I still got to give Crofty $20.
Yeah, maybe that's why you haven't been letting know where you are.
No, but that product placement with that hat you're wearing, that's got to be worth something.
Yeah, we got to talk to him about that. Maybe get a little more cash out of that.
Speaking of needing something, permanent lights is what Croft Electric does. So getting ready here I see a lot of people putting up lights last weekend. Just get Croft Electric to come. Then you got lights all the time. They're
586-1333. Get Crofty to come out. They're up. They're done. You run them from your phone. You're happy.
And you got them all year round. Oh, look what Curtis did.
There is
the charcuterie track.
Roval. There's the Roval. There's the Roval. I can't see it. There we go.
The Roval. If you're watching the stream, that is the track that they'll be racing on in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Right there.
That looks like road construction in downtown Regina.
It does a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah.
That looks like it's going to be nothing but chaos.
See those chicanes there? Those 2 really tight corners? Those are the chicanes. Chicane.
Big chicane guy. All right. It is Rubbing His Racing for Croft Electric. Let's take a quick break. If you're watching the stream, you saw it there. It's on sportscage.com.
Water heater and water softener rentals are now available at Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Instead of paying big money up front, you can rent a water heater and water softener directly from Bronco without the worry or hassle. They have a long history of renting water heaters and water softeners, and they're maintenance-free. Bronco comes and does all that for you. Saskatchewan's best water heater rentals are from Bronco. Call 306-781-2090. Professional, courteous service. BroncoPlumbing.com.
This wasn't an animal, and it wasn't human either. Take that!
Sometimes you need to work outside in the cold. Maybe not battling a snow beast, but regular work. Prairieland Rental has heaters, generators, and all the things you need when you work outside. You can even rent skid steers to move snow and deal directly with the owner.
Take that and that!
Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street, prairielandrental.com.
Hospitals of Regina Foundation Home Lottery Convertible and Cali bonus prize deadline is midnight tomorrow. It's our biggest bonus prize ever with a BMW Cabriolet convertible and a Dream California vacay. Or take $100,000 plus be in for the Echo Lake Cottage Early Bird and the $1.4 million grand prize package, including the Ripplinger Show Home and $25,000. Buy now at hrfhomelottery.com. License LR24-0046.
Grow bold with the Fendt Ideal 10 Combine, available at Nick's Service. The Fendt Ideal 10 offers 790 horsepower and features the same Fendt ID engine speed concept made popular in the lineup of tractors. This means maximum horsepower and torque are achieved at lower RPMs, giving you tremendous fuel efficiency. With a 485-bushel grain tank capable of unloading at 6 bushels per second, turn downtime into dust with the Fendt Ideal 10 Combine. See one today at Nick's Service in Emerald Park. York.
You know what they say about trust? Trust goes both ways. And hey, that doesn't just go for people. It goes for you and your vehicle too. If your vehicle seems to be telling you something's wrong, you have to trust that instinct. Visit your local Integra Tire dealer for all of your car's mechanical service needs and get up to a $100 rebate on a set of 4 tires on select brands. You want tires you can trust from a dealer you can trust. Trust your locally owned Integra Tire dealers. Cars Holdings Assiniboia and Schlamps Tire Grenfell. Truly local.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
1-0 Cleveland in the bottom of the second on top of Detroit right now. Major League hardball fans out there. That's what's going on. Yankees and Royals in a bit here. Did you guys see what the hurricane did to Tropicana Field?
Lifted the roof right off it.
Yeah. Yeah. Former home of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Do you know so my sister and her husband, they live in Sarasota. So texting with her yesterday, like they were they ended up being okay. Like they have hurricane shutters and stuff, but that can only take you so far. And their generator went down, but I got a text earlier today. So you mentioned Tropicana Field in the mid 90s. I remember going there and seeing Hootie and the Blowfish. Curtis, there's a clip you can pull up. Find Hootie and the Blowfish. Hold my hand. Anything. Only want to be.
No,
with
we don't
you.
want to get flagged.
That's before the internet.
You can pull up a picture of Hootie and the Blowfish. We can't play them because we
hold my hand.
Hold my
I
hand.
only do Daring Durant.
But I remember, and so there was no grass or fake grass. It was just the cement floor. This was before the Tampa Rays moved in there. So it was just the stadium, it just had a giant cement floor. It was a giant cabaret.
The crazy part of that stadium is they played 3 years of NHL hockey in there. What? The Tampa Bay Lightning played at Tropicana Field. It was called the Thunderdome for 3 seasons. You don't remember that?
No.
Oh, who did we interview on the Nooner that remembers
Tampa
playing
was
in
terrible.
that game?
I didn't pay any attention to him back
then.
then.
And they had the record for attendance because it was a baseball stadium. Look up. They still have pictures of it. We'll look it up at the break. Tonight is Plaza of Honor for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Durant and Roy Shivers. What do you guys remember about Roy Shivers?
Well, to me, he's one of those guys that changed the franchise. And when he came in, we were talking about this on the show. It was yesterday, that the commitment to football had to be there. For all the other things, be like, you're going to have to invest in the team and the players, because that was what the pedigree he was bringing. And they started following that formula, and look, they started having success. I don't think we'd be sitting where we are with the stadium we have, with everything we have, without him. He is a catalyst to what we have today. We didn't know it at the time, maybe, because he.
Yeah.
But to me, us psycho Rider fans, we owe it all to him for getting this started.
He's polarizing. He very much so was polarizing, and is a good way to put it. But
good at his job.
I just remember that quote. I can get 100 running backs here tomorrow. They're all over the United States. And when he made the trade for Nealon Green, and I'm sure afterwards he wished he still had the running back instead of Nealon Green. But his comment was he has the ability to find a player whatever we might need. However, I don't care what league you're in, you need to develop a quarterback. A quarterback just doesn't show up and play. He's got to be developed. But yeah, that's my specific memory of him. And the other one is the day he got let go, and he was outside the old Mosaic there, and he said, "Maybe I'll talk to all you guys tomorrow." Nope, never did. Gone. He left town. Never talked to anybody again.
He just smoke bombed them out.
Yeah. I just remember him being so not phony. Which I just love. Like,
and he didn't look or act like your typical CFL general manager. Like he's his own guy, always has it. But even now, he still looks super cool. Like I bet you, to me, he was just in his own stratosphere as far as he's just good with being who he was.
I bet you he's the kind of guy that can get you anything. Players, what do you need?
Cuban cigars?
He knows a guy. Exactly.
Fine whiskey? Got it.
Yeah.
I'll make a call, right?
He could just get things done. Dave Thomas caught up with them, and he's going into the Plaza this evening.
Roy Shivers, how does it feel going into the Plaza of Honor?
Feels good. It feels rewarding. I wish Danny was here to go in with me and my coaching staff, because they did most of it. I was just a guy that took the verbal abuse. But they did a heck of a job, you know. And it's funny. I'm reflecting back on when we first came here and we were going through contracts to see who we keep and everything, you know. So we come across Steve Sarkisian's name, you know. Let's cut him, you know. He can't play and everything. So now he's making $15 million. I think he should give me part of it, you know. But no, it feels good. I've had and like I say, when I was here, I enjoyed it, you know, because confrontation doesn't bother me. And I like it, matter of fact, you know. But didn't end like I wanted to end because I think I left Danny and them in the lurch. I think if I'd have been here, they'd have won. They'd beat BC in the playoffs, you know. There was a lot of turmoil going on then, but that's the only regret I had. The regret I got, I didn't finish the job. I don't think I finished the job, you know.
Being inducted into the Plaza obviously means that you've left a legacy not only on this franchise but as the province. What do you want to be remembered for?
The guy did a good job. Yeah, I came into a tough situation. You know, only thing I knew about Saskatchewan was what I used to get from Don Matthews. And it was like purgatory for him, you know what I mean? Because every time he cut somebody, he threatened to send them to Saskatchewan, you know. And I never could figure it out. But then I thought about it. I said, well, it's just like Green Bay. Town centers around the football team. Green Bay is the same way, you know. So what I like people to think is a guy who's an honest guy. He did the best job he could do and let chips fall where they may.
One thing many will remember you for, Roy, is your ability to find talent, like bringing the likes of Kevin Glenn and Henry Burris and, of course, Darian Durant into the Canadian Football League. So as you're sitting beside him, what did you see in Darian that made you think that he was going to be successful here in the CFL?
At the Cannon, we were down at Georgia Tech. Yeah, I had a workout down there. And, you know, you never think about North Carolina putting out football players. It was basketball school, you know. And we saw him down at Georgia Tech, and he's throwing the ball all over the field and everything. And I'm like, hey, he's got a live arm, you know. And that's how that transpired, you know, because I was head of personnel. That's what I did, you know. It was like if I said he was okay, let's take him, you know. And Danny then would take my word for it and stuff like that. And that's how it went down. I was like, hey, he can throw, you know. And that's how it evolved. You know, the biggest mistake I made here. Can anybody tell me the biggest mistake I made here in on the football team? And it's not Henry Burris. And I'll tell you something you never knew. Biggest mistake I made is when I traded, what's the offensive lineman? The first year we traded him to Edmonton, Comiskey. When we traded Comiskey, that was the biggest mistake I made because we could have had the best offensive line at that time, but we're trying to get a quarterback. You know, we tried to get a quarterback, and that was the biggest mistake. Nobody knew that. And I told Danny, I say, if you trade him, you better be good because it's going to screw the whole rotation up. We could have had all Canadian offensive line then. And he traded him here. Yeah, Hugh Campbell sucked me on that one real good.
So lastly, what was your best day with the Saskatchewan Roughriders?
The first year we made the playoffs because they hadn't been in the playoffs in X number of years. And see, my thing was you got to make the playoffs before you make the Grey Cup. And people didn't understand that step by step. In the first year, we were horrible. You know, I couldn't believe how bad we were, especially on defense. We couldn't cover that chair or something, you know what I mean? Oh, it was horrible. You know, and I was like, Daddy, Richie Hall, you got to do something about this one guy we had playing corner and stuff, you know. We played BC, and Travis must have caught 500 yards worth of passes, and 3 of them were penalties off of the DB, you know what I mean? But I knew I'd been in the league for a long time, and we had done the same thing in Calgary and BC. I knew we were going to succeed, but just trying to hold on until we made it.
That guy's got some awesome quotes. He tonight, Plaza of Honor should be an awesome night. We'll hear from Darian Durant a little bit later. We got an hour left in the program, and we got winning to do. We got Rider tickets to give away. We got Thunder tickets to away, and maybe some Regina Pat tickets. Stay tuned. It is the all-new Sportscage on the home of football and the Riders, 620 CKRM.
Hun, I'm starving. What do we have to eat?
Avoid the annoyed.
Western pizza. I really don't feel like cooking today.
Avoid the annoyed.
Western Pizza.
I want lasagna.
I was thinking Caesar salad and garlic bread.
I had my heart set on chicken wings.
Avoid the annoyed.
Western Pizza.
Avoid the annoyed with Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste. Dine in or take out. Order today.
Western Pizza.
It's time to bring the thunder. The Regina Thunder are back in action this Sunday at 1 p.m. as they host the Calgary Colts. Come out Sunday afternoon and cheer on your Regina Thunder for this PFC semifinals playoff game as they aim to dominate the Colts. Advance tickets are available at reginathunder.ca or can be purchased at the gate. Kickoff is 1 p.m. at Liable Field. Regina Thunder football. Bring the thunder.
Sask Lotteries has 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Help us grow the next 50. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
You say
move,
and your cows say you tell them
your water is right over there,
and they say you can't convince a cow to move to the water, so move the water to the cows with the Keln Solar Livestock Watering System. With the Keln Solar Livestock Watering System, you can put your pump pretty much anywhere without the cost of hooking up to the grid. Learn more about the Keln Solar Livestock Watering System at kelnsolar.com. Keln Solar, we move water.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders are getting ready for Legends Night, presented by Ruffles, October 12th at 5 as the Riders face the Lions. Coors Light Party in the Park will have autographs from Darian Durant and Roy Shivers. $5 beers both there and in stadium until 30 minutes before kickoff. And live music from the Tilted Kilts. The 2024 Cameco Touchdown for Dream recipients will join the game. Greeted by Rider Nation. Buy your pink Cameco Rider mitts and support the cause. We'll also honor the 2024 SaskTel Plaza of Honor inductees during halftime. It's Legends Night, presented by Ruffles versus the Lions, October 12th.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. It's mostly cloudy and it's 16 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Echo Sound and for Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with a new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. Saskatchewan's two main party leaders addressed crime as the province's election campaign wrapped up day 9.
Scott Moe promising more powers for police to crack down on crime, including more addictions treatment spaces and legislative changes so police can remove people from businesses. Meantime, the NDP's Carla Beck accusing the Saskatchewan Party of turning a blind eye to rising crime rates and the root causes of it, vowing to bring forward effective solutions to cut crime and reduce the mental health and addictions crisis. Voters go to the polls on October 28th. Aaron Sousa, The Canadian Press.
Atakakup RCMP received a report of a shooting on Tuesday around 8:55 p.m. Officers quickly arrived at the scene where they found an injured adult male who had been shot. The victim was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. An investigation revealed that a dispute between two adult males resulted in the shooting. The following day, the police arrested a suspect at a residence on the Atakakup Cree Nation. The Parliamentary Budget Officer says his updated report on the federal carbon price is largely consistent with earlier findings. Yves Giroux says today's report still finds the vast majority of households get back more in rebates than they pay through the carbon price program. But he says once broader economic effects are factored in, those gains are wiped out for the most part, except for some lower-income earners. The updated report comes after the office said it had mistakenly included the economic impact of the big industrial carbon price in its 2022 and 23 analyses, sparking political controversy. Russia has recruited around 200 women ages 18 to 22 from across Africa to work in a factory assembling thousands of Iranian-designed attack drones to be launched into Ukraine.
An Associated Press investigation has found that the foreigners and Russian teens are crucial to producing the Iranian-designed drones, which are primarily built in a factory in the Tatarstan region. The Africans were lured to Russia by a massive social media campaign that promised them free airfare and a work-study program. However, some of them complain of long hours, under constant surveillance, of broken promises about wages and areas of study. They also said they were working with caustic chemicals that left their skin pockmarked and itching as they churned out the drones. I'm Karen Shamas.
That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when... Uh-oh.
There are some things that can get spoiled. A sunny day, maybe.
Aw, and no umbrella or anything.
And then there's Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer, where they have all the top-of-the-line smartphones with all the latest features. With such a wide selection and so many great plans, nothing can spoil it.
Yay, rain!
Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
There she is. There.
What are you waiting for?
Gun's jammed.
We better get to TNT Gunworks.
TNT Gunworks in Regina is your trusted source in Saskatchewan for guns, ammunition, hunting supplies, and has an on-site gunsmith that services rifles and shotguns. They've got the biggest selection and the best price.
Ah, son of a gun.
That's the spirit.
Stop in at TNT Gunworks just off Albert on 4th Avenue North, Regina.
It's 5:04, and I'm Corey Atkinson with your 620 CKRM Precision Weather, brought to you by Line-X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and for Matt's Furniture. Visit mattsfurniture.ca. Now here's Precision Weather meteorologist Phil Spivak.
Mainly clear sky for tonight. The wind, which has been a bit gusty, will subside, becoming nearly calm later in the night, but at least through the evening, we'll still see 20, 30 kilometer per hour winds. We'll drop back to pretty close to zero. Some of us could go just onto the negative side, but mostly through the night we are above. Through the day on Friday, we're up to 15. Sunshine mixing with a bit of cloud cover through the afternoon, just a gentle breeze. Some cloudiness, maybe a passing shower or two Friday night. Very light showers, if any, develop, down to 4. And for Saturday, we're under a mixture of clouds and sunshine, the high around 13. Some warm air looks hesitant to build back in, which will leave us cool through the holiday weekend. 10, maybe 11 degrees on Sunday under a sunny sky, and getting back up to around 12 on Monday, which is pretty close to average for this time of year, just running a little cooler than late. There is still some warm air coming in through the new week, though. By Tuesday and Wednesday, temperatures climb back into at least the mid-teens. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather meteorologist Phil Spivak.
Across the province at this hour, Saskatoon is 15, Swift Current 14, Assiniboia 16, Yorkton Melville 14, Moosomin Broadview 16, Estevan 19, and Weyburn is 18. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's mostly cloudy, winds from the northwest at 26, gusting to 39, and it's 17. Regina is also mostly cloudy, winds are from the northwest at 30, gusting to 40, and it's 16. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
He's at it again. Matt's sharpening his pencil to save you big money at Matt's Furniture. From now until October 30th, save more with the Autumn Sweet Savings Event. Buy any 2 qualifying Whirlpool or Maytag kitchen appliances, like the Maytag Smart Electric Range with indoor grill, just $16.99, and save an extra $150. Buy 3 or more qualifying Whirlpool or Maytag appliances and save an extra $300. Matt's Furniture in Fort Capel, Kamsack, Melville, and Foam Lake, or online at mattsfurniture.ca.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
There it is. We're back. Barney Schinker, Chris Mazurek, Sharky, Colson, Curtis. This is a 5-pack in here today. We got a lineup. We got a hockey lineup in here. We're just missing a goaltender. That's where this guy maybe comes in. It is Plaza of Honor night in Regina. Huge event. Before we go to him, I teased it. We do have winning to get done. And I like to shift some of this, especially people are driving home now, listening to later in the show. You got a chance to win. We have 2 rider tickets for this weekend's game against the BC Lions. The key word is riders. 936-6262, Capital Ford Lincoln text line. Capital Ford, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. We also have Regina Thunder tickets for the game Sunday at Leibel Field. You want to go watch some PFC playoff action? Same deal, 936-6262. Just text in the word Thunder. They take on the Colts. It's a big one. 1 p.m. kickoff at Leibel Field. We'll get you 2 tickets to that. It is time to talk some Plaza with our man Glenn.
The all-new Sports Cage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glenn Suter is brought to you by Quality Tire. With 9 locations across Saskatchewan, visit qualitytire.ca.
We've been watching your feed here, Glenn. You're right in the mixer there at Connexus Arts Center already. Busy night, Plaza of Honor. Everyone's excited. What are you most excited about for tonight with Shivers and Durant?
Well, a couple things. First of all, Darian just walked in, and I get a chance to do this with, in the background here, is Darian Durant's locker replicated for the Plaza of Honor. So that's in behind everyone. There's Darian. He's back there right now. And, I'm excited to celebrate one of the great quarterbacks in history. I really am. And a GM who really broke a lot of ground for a lot of GMs in professional sports, not just football. So, it is a big night, and it's a night that I'm real happy to be here to a guy that I covered as a broadcaster. And as I remember in the 2000 Cup run, and I'll still say it to this day, out of the 30-something years I've been doing this, I've never seen a quarterback put a team on his shoulders like Darian Durant did in 2013 when he, in the semifinal, rushed for 100 yards, in the final threw for 300 yards, and then in the Grey Cup was lights out. I think it was 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in the 3 postseason games. It was one of the great runs for any quarterback in CFL history. He was not going to be denied that day.
Okay, Glenn, we are going to call you back on your phone because you're cutting out a little bit here because it's starting to get loud. We're just going to give you a quick shout on your phone. Colson's going to get it going. We could talk amongst ourselves here. That's great video footage, Joe. That Glenn, the lockers there.
If this broadcasting thing doesn't work out for Suits, he's got a cameraman gig lined up here on the Sports Cage. We'll talk to his agent. We'll talk amongst the people. We'll get a deal worked out.
See if we can get something done.
I like the locker. That's a nice touch. Dave Thomas in the background there. Yeah, it's starting to get really busy.
So I told you earlier. I got the 2013 Grey Cup roster here.
Yeah.
For the Riders. There's some beauty names on there and some names that you probably maybe we forgot about, like Tristan Black, Tyron Brackenridge,
McHenry,
Weldon Brown, Craig Butler, John. You can't forget John Chick.
McHenry was on that team, wasn't he?
Let's see. Diamond Ferry. Diamond Ferry. Scott McHenry, Saskatchewan Husky.
Holy Cross Crusader.
Jermaine McElveen, Dominic Picard, Brian Peters. So Brian Peters, I follow him on Instagram. He's gone on to have a really interesting career because he played football. He teaches breathing. That's what he does now.
Pete's boy.
Like in the craziest of areas. And one of the names, I loved him as a punter, and you don't often get a lot of punter love. I loved Louis Sakota, but Ricky Schmidt and a guy, just because of the name, Jock Sanders, running back, played 12 games that year.
Diamond Ferry. That's a handle.
Oh, and White Chocolate. Neil Hughes was also on the team.
We got it. Colson, we got him? Okay. Western Pizza guest hotline, old school style here with Glenn Suter. Sorry about that, Glenn. You were talking and you were talking about your memories and all that. Okay, let's talk about your memories of Roy Shivers, because we were kind of chatting about it here too. Roy was an interesting guy, a guy that just could get things done, and really what you see is kind of what you get from Roy.
Without question. I mean,
to me, Roy was, first of all, he was always very cooperative with us. If you sat down and talked football, you might be in there most of the night talking football with Roy. But I don't know if you guys felt this as well, is whenever I talked to him, and it didn't matter if it was about his own team or the league or maybe the NFL even, I always felt like he had a secret weapon or a secret formula, or he knew a secret that was going to be a difference maker for his team, and he wasn't going to tell you just yet, but he had something up his sleeve somewhere.
That could be the nail on the head right there. That's I don't know him that well, but that's exactly how I would picture him.
Oh, yeah. Like you said, he had a guy, whether you needed a mechanic or a middle linebacker.
Cuban cigars.
Yeah, Cuban cigars, that he knows a guy. Or if he doesn't, he knows a guy who knows a guy.
He's got bookies. He'd be a guy that could
might be one.
Hey, Roy, I'm going down here. Who should I go bet with? Yeah, Darian, whatever.
But Suits, watching this franchise, because when he got to town and he was bringing the pedigree from what he had done with the Stamps, it became about football, and the message was you need to invest in the players and the program and the team if you want to get those same results. You got to see that firsthand. Now, it took a while, but you were here in a different Rider era when things were completely different. Did you know when he first came on board, like, this is a guy, he's going to make some waves and he's going to move this franchise forward?
I did, because he was such a great personnel guy. I mean, that was his superpower. And when he went out to, he made the transition quickly, whether it was with the BC Lions early or Calgary. And then when he finally got here, and had the chance to actually make the decisions and control what he wanted to spend money on, or what players he wanted to spend money on. But what he figured out really quickly was the type of athlete needed to play in our game, with the rules slightly different than the NFL rules. But when it came to American players, he knew exactly what type he needed to win in the CFL. And, it's hard to win at the best of times, so they're not all championship seasons. But he's got some rings, and, a guy that knew personnel well. And that's why I knew, he's going to do well as a GM, because, yes, he is putting the players first to making sure they're taken care of, but also he understands what type of player they need to win with in Canadian football. And then he brought in Darian. And, when he signed Darian, I thought it didn't take long for me to figure out that this guy was going to be, if they put enough weapons around Darian Durant, he's going to be a championship quarterback. You could tell early.
I got a question for you, Glenn. I'm going to take you down a different path here, because obviously we got a big weekend coming up in Regina. BC Lions are in town to get their butts spanked. But more importantly, Winnipeg's going or playing Toronto. Toronto still has something to play for. They have to make sure they stay ahead of Hamilton so they can guarantee themselves third place. If Winnipeg loses, the Riders are a point back with a win. Does Winnipeg hold guys off, or do they play them and make sure that they get the W?
I think they make sure that they have all of their guys healthy. This time of year, we have this conversation every time. And, when we have this conversation, it's always, for me, it's don't worry about rust in the playoffs, because after the first series of a playoff game, your rust, if you had any, will be long gone. The pace and the physicality in a playoff game is different, and you get it almost immediately. So if you haven't played for a week or two, it's really not a big deal. It isn't. And I would rather be 100% healthy and have all my horses healthy going into the first playoff game than to, take the risk, maybe lose a guy or have a guy that's not quite 100% and then play him anyway because you want to keep winning and keep this winning streak going in the regular season. They still have to lock up first. So that's there, and this game probably, this decision doesn't come into it too much. But when it comes to a game, once you have your playoff spot, I'm resting guys. I just, I want to make sure they're healthy for the postseason.
To the game here on Saturday, What intrigues you about this matchup? More importantly for Rider fans, what do the Riders have to do to get by BC and hopefully secure that home playoff date?
Yeah, I had a great conversation today with AJ Ouellette, and he's going to be returning to the lineup. And
whoa, breaking news!
Yep.
I asked him if he took all the number one reps, so I don't remember if they actually said he's starter, but I talked to him in our interview, so I'm not sure they would have given him us if he wasn't playing. Anyway, with Ouellette, I asked him, what did you learn from watching? And he said to me, I learned that I'm going to be a little more patient, and not patient to change his style, because he's a guy with the style of like the Hammer. He wants to be the Hammer. He wants to attack. He wants to hit. He wants to play with physicality. So he's not going to change that. But the patience to press the line of scrimmage, he even mentioned Andrew Harris and, how he became sort of a leader in the locker room when he was hurt, when they were in Toronto in a similar situation. So, I think he got a little different perspective from watching from the sideline, watching his old line from the sideline. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table, because right now, Trevor Harris is lights out. You give Trevor Harris time, and he'll dissect the defense, and he can take you to the championship game. But that's, you got to give him time, and a run game added to his game, added to Trevor's game, and now that's going to be a great formula for the Riders. So, I heard it earlier. I heard you guys talking earlier with the Rash, and a couple of things. A couple of things.
Oh no.
Yeah. No, I listened in, and I heard that, first of all, that the Riders can't make it. Like he doesn't see a scenario, and come on, they have the best defensive player in the league that will turn the ball over pretty much every game, once a game at least. A middle linebacker that could very easily be the all-star middle linebacker, and a defensive front, especially in the interior of that defensive front. And with the guys that they have in return, basically they've got their starting lineup back. I say that defense can win. So this team has got as good a chance as any of advancing. And the other thing, guys, really quickly, I went to Dallas, and absolutely there was someone on the grassy knoll behind us.
Oh, no.
There is no question in my mind when I walked around, and I went up to the bookstore suppository and I went and looked at their display there. But when I walked around and I looked, and look, I'm not a hunter or anything, but I looked, I thought, this is the shot. This is where it came from. It was the fence on the grassy knoll. No question about it in my mind.
Suits, I'll take you hunting anytime you want to go. You let me know. We'll
He
go
can't
out.
go back to Vancouver if you take him hunting. They
Sure.
don't allow that there.
No,
Come
I know
on.
they don't allow it in Vancouver.
I
No,
know, but
no.
he can't.
We won't send any
social
of the
media's
bodies
on
or
him
anything.
anyways when he
Yeah.
makes the wrong call or wears the wrong colored tie, as we found out.
We won't put any social media out there if we go hunting.
No, you won't have him
Very
holding
quiet.
up
No.
with the horns?
No,
With
there'll be no
the-
horns or
No.
birds.
I told you we'd be quick today, Glenn, because you're at the Plaza of Honor. So we'll let you go. I know it's a busy night, an exciting night for you there.
It's like homecoming.
Yes. Sign a lot of autographs, take a lot of pictures. Glenn will catch up with you next week.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great night.
Right on. Press coverage with Glenn Suter for Quality Tire.
You notice I've offered to take him and not you.
See, my brother, he used to hunt. I have zero interest in that. It's like golf. I have zero interest in golf.
Well, I enjoy both of them.
I have zero interest in. I'm not missing anything by not going hunting. Trust me.
Well, no,
What
because
about fishing? Are
I
you a fish-
would see him and my brother-in-law getting up at 3 a.m, getting dressed like they're Navy SEALs to go sit in the woods somewhere in the hopes to God
Yeah.
something wanders
Yeah.
by, or they're digging. Is it when you're hunting? When I say birds, I mean is when you're hunting
ducks and geese.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's when you dig into the ground, right?
It is an option, yes.
Yeah, so like digging in, hard ground, farmer's field, the frost has already been there. And
No.
I'm like, so what do you do? They're like, well, that's why you drink vodka. And I'm like, this is sounding worse all the time.
I'm not encouraging the drinking of vodka while hunting. Please be aware that that's not part of the derail. But the digging in the ground is not such a thing anymore.
Okay.
There are different blinds you can bring out so that your decoys are out and you're in the blinds when they come in. Much safer environment than digging a hole in the ground. Although some guys still do it, but it's not for me.
I've been watching baseball behind you this whole conversation, just so you know. I have no interest.
You're like a cat with a laser pointer right now.
Yeah, I just hunting and fish. I get why people love it. It's just something that I don't. Speaking of Darian Durant, we do have.
We weren't. How did you segue?
with
suits.
With suits, getting us back on the Plaza of Honor track here. We do have audio that Dave did catch up with Durant on this special day that we're going to be playing momentarily. Also, we do have some people, here we go, getting in on the Thunder tickets for that game on Sunday against the Calgary Colts, 1 p.m. at Leibel Field. If you want to go to that.
That's a long bus ride home if they get blown out again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that scares me is playoff football, right? We're going to be joined by one of the Thunder, 50 receiver, a little bit later, Zach Waleka. I don't know. It's Hilltops and Thunder. Should we make that drive if it happens?
Sure. Wait, when that would be next weekend?
I think it's next weekend, yeah. Yeah, there's no bye weeks.
I got to figure out what I'm hunting next week.
Yeah, you're digging holes.
I'm not digging holes. No, I don't dig holes.
It's the all-new Sportscage. If you're watching the stream, sportscage.com.
The all-new Sportscage is brought to you by Busy Bee Doors. Busy Bee will repair or replace your residential or commercial garage doors so you don't get stuck in or out. Catch the buzz. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
The Saskatchewan Party will make life more affordable for students, for homeowners, and for families. We'll increase the amount students get back through the Graduate Retention Program. We'll increase the first-time home buyer's tax credit. We'll create a home renovation tax credit, and we will increase the active families benefit for children's activities. We'll also reduce your income tax and keep home heating exempt from the Trudeau NDP carbon tax. The Saskatchewan Party, making life more affordable for Saskatchewan people.
Authorized by the financial agents for all provincial Saskatchewan Party candidates.
The greatest auto sale has arrived at Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Behold our dazzling weekly Ringmaster specials. Early year-end prices that will have you gasping. And Cash for Clunkers is back. Get a minimum $3,000 for your vehicle, guaranteed. There's food and games galore. Plus, win your share of thousands in unbelievable prizes. So come one, come all to the greatest auto sale at Crestview.
Cal, what are you making?
Making lawn signs. Just 10,267 to go. Grab a marker.
You're not running again?
Yep, running for Premier.
Even Premier beef is stretching it. You're too tough and sinewy.
That's what makes me such a good candidate, straight guy. Unlike Carla Chickenpeck, she says she's going to lower taxes and increase services, but she has no idea how she's going to pay for it.
That's not true.
And Scott Moo, he says he's going to lower taxes and increase services, but he has no idea how he's going to pay for it.
That's the same thing.
Exactly. That's why I'm running for office. I'm going to raise taxes and cut services.
Cal, that's ridiculous.
See, people are already starting to talk about me. Will you see my plan for dogs and cats?
What's that?
Everyone shops at Cowtown.
That might be the smartest thing you said.
In town, out of town, for the best pet food for dogs and cats, it's gotta be Cowtown. Cowtown Canada on Facebook.
Got any slogans?
Don't axe the pet snacks. What you think?
Well, it rhymes.
Hospitals of Regina Foundation Home Lottery Convertible and Cali bonus prize deadline is midnight tomorrow. It's our biggest bonus prize ever with a BMW Cabriolet convertible and a Dream California vacay. Or take $100,000 plus be in for the Echo Lake Cottage early bird and the $1.4 million grand prize package, including the Ripplinger Show home and $25,000. Buy now at hrfhomelottery.com. License LR 24-0046.
The Gleaner S98 is the culmination of a century of unique design and performance, adding more harvest performance through operator comfort, new technology, and simplified serviceability. The Gleaner S98 is a combine designed to propel your business forward. Gleaner's simple design drastically reduces compaction and increases fuel savings. Learn more about the Gleaner S98 at Nick's Service in Emerald Park or visit them online at nickservice.com.
It's time to bring the Thunder. The Regina Thunder are back in action this Sunday at 1 p.m. as they host the Calgary Colts. Come out Sunday afternoon and cheer on your Regina Thunder for this PFC semifinals playoff game as they aim to dominate the Colts. Advance tickets are available at reginathunder.ca or can be purchased at the gate. Kickoff is 1 p.m. at Liable Field. Regina Thunder football. Bring the Thunder.
Welcome back to the all-new Sportscage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sportscage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Oh, Zach Wagala from the Thunder going to be joining us in a bit here, and we are going to hear from Darian Durant, but off camera here, we got to go into this. We're talking about hunting.
Yep.
And then we're talking about eating wild meat, which I can't.
No.
So I can't.
No thanks.
It's not, doesn't agree with me. But then Maz is talking about a crazy grandma. What did she do?
So one year we were over there and we had like the normal, like out of the grandmas, there was grandma in Meath Park. She made like normal food, like pierogies and cabbage rolls, and just it was always normal. You could eat. It was good. And then the other grandma, things were always a little weird there. And I remember we were over there for Christmas and she was trying to pass this off as a turkey, but it wasn't. It was dark and it was greasy. It was a goose. And I don't know. And I remember as a kid calling this out. And back then, this is when you could get spanked. Like there was discipline. There was all of these things. She made buckwheat pierogies. It was just, anytime you went to her house, you left hungry because it was just weird. And as a kid that's sheltered, you only eat what you like, right?
That was
You got to live in a pretty special house if you got to choose what you like to eat.
No, we didn't get to choose. But when you got there, they're like, that was awful.
That was like dating. Remember you used to date like high school or post-high? You used to go over to whatever house, and then some of them, it's like, oh, we're going to this, because now you're opening it up. You got uncles, you got grandmas, you got just, and you could get anything. And there was a few weird adventures.
A couple of my aunts were really good cooks, like my mom, and then there was a couple of aunts when you went to their house, be prepared to starve because they were the worst cooks ever. And but that's any family, and that's anywhere. Like some were not necessarily great in the kitchen, like that just it. But the weird
buckwheat pierogies.
Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around buckwheat.
Or she'd be like,
pierogies.
"Oh, I have pie." I'm like, "Oh, great pie." It would be raisin pie. I'm like, "That is disgusting."
Rhubarb.
Rhubarb's okay.
No, that's a weed.
Rhubarb pie's not.
Anybody that's like, "Oh, do you want rhubarb?" Yeah. Nope.
I think the last person I liked that liked rhubarb pie was my dad.
I know, same.
I think I'm his age, but anyway, rhubarb raspberry is delicious.
Sharky, on the way home, can we stop and get some rice pudding somewhere for you?
No, I don't want rice pudding.
Well, no, you have
weird.
When you say you like rhubarb pie, you also like rice pudding because you're kind of in that. You're married in that.
No, those are not. Those don't even live on the same street. They're not married.
Old people town. That's the street they live on.
Hey, now I like rhubarb stuff.
Yeah.
Rhubarb stuff's great. I grew up with it.
Okay, and for the record, on the wild game cooking, right? I will make you guys something that you will go, this is unbelievable. Trust me.
Is it a McDonald's charcuterie board?
No, it's not a McDonald's charcuterie board. I can cook you pheasant that you'll go, this is fantastic.
Absolutely not. I'm out.
You're having it.
I am
Bring it
out.
in, Sharky Curtis, and I'll have it.
Yeah. Elk sausage. We're going to have some elk sausage.
Pheasant with a side of rhubarb.
You know what? We're having some rhubarb pie, too.
Yes, sir.
Colson and I are down.
You and Colson.
Look at the trio over there going to a fall supper at a church hall there. We're going to have pheasant and rhubarb
Bring
pie.
some rice pudding while you're at it.
We're not bringing any bloody rice pudding. That's not happening.
They're gonna they won't have any of that at the plaza this evening at the Connexus Arts Center. It'll be good, normal food. Dave Thomas, he talked to he's on the show every Monday. Darian Durant But Dave caught up with them on the big day.
Darian, what's it like being back and being inducted into the Plaza of Honor?
It's been good. It's always good to be back first and foremost, but just to be back in this capacity, and you realize what this weekend and this week is about, and of course, going in with the man who brought me here to Saskatchewan, you do a lot of reflecting, and it just brings back a ton of memories. So it's been good to be back, and I look forward to all the festivities.
What does it mean that you're going to be inducted and honored with the man that brought you to the CFL?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, when you look back and you think about how I got here, being on Ottawa and Hamilton's neg list, and then, Roy bringing me here, it's just a crazy moment going in with him. And I think back to, our first year and our first team meeting and just being around him. Like he said, he put everything in place. He did an amazing job, amazing teammates we had that year. And, I for one wish that he would have had an opportunity to seal the deal as well. So it's just great going in with him.
Do you fully understand your impact on Rider Nation now that you've been back with us a number of times?
I think coming back last year really, showed me, the impact that I had. I had no idea. And now that I'm retired and years away, and when you come back, you really get to feel how important, the era that I had with of course with my teammates, but the era that we put together and the success that we had, it brought Saskatchewan football back to a level that, was pretty much unheard of. So to be a part of that, to be a part of, 4 Grey Cup games in my career, just the ups and the downs, the injuries, everything that came with it, you just, reflect, and I'm just so thankful. I'm lost for words right now, but I'm just so thankful for the opportunity and the love that I received from Saskatchewan.
Now, thanks to the internet and YouTube, your kids are going to grow up and be able to see you playing the game of football. But there's going to come a time when one of them asks, "Hey, Dad, Plaza of Honor, what does that mean?" What will you tell them?
I think once I bring them here and they get to experience a game day, just the environment, I think they'll realize what it's like to be out here. And they've gotten taste of it, on our flight from Fort Lauderdale yesterday to Toronto. There were a couple Rider fans. I had on a Saskatchewan hat, and there were a couple Rider fans. And my 6-year-old said, "Dad, are you famous?" And I said, no, I'm not. But one day they'll understand. I think once they can get here and they're old enough to, just soak up the environment, then they'll understand for sure.
I think he's being modest. Yes, Dad is famous, and his kids will soon come to learn. If they're 6 and as they get older, they'll realize just how famous Dad was in Rider Nation, and will always be because of 2013. Well, I would say it's the body of work, but 2013 being the culminating point of finally.
He led the Riders to 3 Grey Cups in 5 years.
Yep.
That's an outstanding record for any quarterback to go to the Grey Cup 3 times in 5 years.
Yep.
Other than Lancaster, who played here 30 years or something?
I think closer to 13.
It's a stretch. 30 is a stretch. That's a career.
Yeah.
That would be.
Anyway, I think Darian deserves to be at least in the Plaza of Honor, if not more.
What's more?
Retired jersey.
Ooh. That and CFL Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
For
retired.
Sure.
Should be in the CFL Hall.
Yeah.
Retired jersey.
I would think if it's not next year, the year following. Dresser got in this year, but CFL, after this CFL Hall of Fame, well, tomorrow an appearance on the Sportscage between 3 and 4, hopefully, if he answers my text. And then the CFL Hall of Fame next season in Hamilton, because really, we haven't seen success like that since, and we're hoping to get back to that point. And yeah, it's more than one. It's the ultimate team game. But yeah, 3 and 5 years. And that 2009 loss, as we found out, it still haunts a lot of people. You forget that they went back in 2010 and it didn't work out. And then finally in 2013, mission accomplished.
He definitely should have 2. but we can't bring that up.
07, he does have a lot of people forget in 07,
he was there.
He was a backup.
Yeah.
So he does have that second Grey Cup ring, but as a starter, and that's what guys care about, you want to be that guy that leads your team to victory.
Colson?
Yeah, Lancaster played for 15 years for the Riders.
Okay.
Not
okay. 18 for the Riders, 15 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Curtis from Unity chimed in on our cooking talk.
Okay. Love to hear what you got, Curtis.
You need to have my mom's raisin tarts. Not bad. Raisin tarts not
like
bad.
A butter tart with raisins?
That's what I'm
probably
thinking.
Similar, but
send them down, Curtis from Unity.
However
you get them here.
We'll review. Yep.
What about cinnamon raisin rice pudding?
No, there's no rice pudding. At no point is there going to be rice pudding.
No, but if you had to eat rice pudding with raisins and cinnamon would be the way you're going to eat it. I don't know, like raw dogging it, that's just gross. But if you put cinnamon and raisins in there to dilute it. No, because that's what we had to eat as kids growing up. Like there was rice pudding.
That's what my dad would have done, eating it raw. He also, do you eat wheatlets and cream of wheat?
No.
Because that's on the same as rhubarb right there. And you probably
I'm making some with rhubarb and bringing it in.
And you are like Brita water filter. You're straight from the tap guy.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
Sorry. He says Curtis also from Unity, properly cooked prairie oysters.
Okay, that's a different issue, Curtis.
Yeah,
we're not going there.
That's a no-go.
Remember the boys in Abbey, Saskatchewan, tried to get me one night. I can't remember. A lot of Bohemian. Shout out. Abbey, Saskatchewan. Might have tried one. Okay, game tonight. 6, another from the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. High school 6-person game, 7 o'clock. It's Q-Par Southey at Wynyard. Under the lights.
Yes,
of
course, it's 7 o'clock.
It'll be buzzing in Wynyard tonight.
It'll be busy. It'll be great.
Let's take a quick break. We still are talking junior football. Speaking of that, you got a chance to win 2 tickets to the Thunder and Colts game. You just got to text in 936-6262. Text in Thunder if you want to go check out that game Sunday afternoon at Libel.
Nobody likes rice pudding. No, I can't even believe we're having this conversation.
It's the all-new Sportscage on 620 CKRM.
Today's high-torque trucks generate a lot of wear on your tires. That's why Michelin recommends the Michelin Defender LT XMS tire. It's built with stronger, advanced compounds that hold up to tougher conditions longer. Whether you're meeting the demands on the job site or hauling your boat to the lake, turn to the experts at Quality Tire with 9 locations in Saskatchewan to find the right Michelin tire for you.
Based on resistance to gravel and severe wear testing compared to Michelin LTX MS2. See Michelin.ca for details.
QualityTire.ca.
Enjoy a feast of deals on your favorite gear at the Thanksgiving sale, on now at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Save more on your favorite outdoor activities with deals on hunting, camping, and ice fishing gear from brands like Tacticam, Bradley, Eskimo, and more. And get additional firearm storage with the trusted, electronically secured Cabela's 34-gun navy blue safe. Now $650 off. Explore the outdoors this fall and save at the Thanksgiving sale on now at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. See online for more details.
Getting the urge to redecorate? Now's the time. It's Seco Days. Save up to 50% on Seco's best paints. Paints we're proud of for projects you'll be proud of. Hurry! Deal ends October 16th. Find your paint at seco.ca.
Here for you when you need us. Call or text us 306-936-6262. Driven by Capital Ford Lincoln, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. CapitalFordLincoln.com on 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Connect with the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262.
You seriously just sent us a recipe for pheasant.
I did. Yep.
The Capital...
I'm guaranteed. It's awesome.
Capital Ford Lincoln text line is working. Shout out James in Lumsden. Riders with an S at the end if you were trying to win the Riders tickets. Thunder, just Thunder, singular, if you want to win the Thunder tickets.
Pheasant breast with white wine and mushroom sauce.
It is awesome.
I love the fact that you're scrolling the internet finding recipes.
This one might be saved. Might be saved.
Finding recipes for the show.
Sharky. Sharky. We got Thursday night football. You wanted to talk NFL.
San Francisco 49ers, Seattle Seahawks. The Geno Smith show continues. And here's the thing.
Whoa. Continues what? They just lost.
Yeah,
there was an awful loss.
No, I'm not saying that as a good way. If anybody, I don't like the Seahawks or whatever, but we talked about this with Arash. So many people had picked the Niners to be the class of the NFC, but then injuries and real football happens when these games get played, and they're getting decimated. And Sharky, you made a good point. They may get guys back, but by December it may be too late.
They could be 2-9, 2-10. Yeah.
They could be out of even a wild card spot if they don't win some of these games, like tonight at Seattle.
They're still a 3.5 point favorite on the road.
I'm taking the underdog. I'm taking the Seahawks.
You can.
I am. Write this down, Colson, because I've been right a lot and you haven't brought it up.
See, that's the only thing that really is curious there is why the odds makers would see this matchup as the Niners still as a favorite. Something doesn't pass a smell test.
They're both on a short week, right? The Niners weren't on a bye, were they? No, they played last week. They lost Arizona.
Yeah, anytime it's funny. Anytime Arizona wins a game and how they won that game and they came back, I'm always amazed. Dallas Cowboy and Las Vegas Raider fandom, like the two most disappointing, heartbreaking fan bases to be part of.
Where are you going with this?
In the league. But then right next door is the Arizona Cardinals, and you don't meet a lot of people that are true Arizona Cardinal fans. And then it's funny, they eke out a few wins, and you think, well, maybe they got a decent team, and now they'll come back, and now next week they'll just get blown out.
They'll disappoint you.
They will, and that's the point I'm trying to make. Is just when you think. Who's the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals? Kyler Murray. Just when you think it'd be like, wow, all of a sudden, and then next game he's going to come back and he's going to look nothing like last week where he, rallies the team for a comeback win.
I want to point out, Colson, what did I pick as the score for the Rider game last week?
You picked 27-23.
What was the final?
28-24.
Not good enough.
You're a big applaud close guy. Yeah, really good night. Good job in being close.
And I will say, Sharky, I have mentioned it twice. I was waiting till you were here, though.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, they did mention it earlier in the week in the show. They talked about how close you were to...
He texted me right after the game. and I thought he nailed it.
No,
he was close.
Yeah, one each. Yeah.
But did you bet on it?
If you were allowed to pick the score, that would be good enough to get you that $200 Sastel gift card.
Yeah, see? I'd already be up.
Okay, we're going to confuse people. We're not playing Pick the Score today.
Just Thunder and Pats tickets.
Thunder and Riders tickets. Pats tickets.
Tomorrow.
Okay, whoa.
What?
Ken just texted in. Look at this picture.
That looks fantastic. Are those butter tarts?
I'm more impressed with the furniture.
Well, that is Grant's house.
That's a solid, well-made table.
That's not from IKEA. I can tell you that much.
No, that's not an IKEA table. No.
Yisk.
That's low rent IKEA.
Are those butter tarts?
I hope so. They
Thank
look like butter
you,
tarts.
Ken, for sending in this picture. That looks fantastic. How do we get our hands on some of that action?
Send those on through, please. Yes.
Let me know where you got that table and chairs, because I need a new one for the cabin.
I'm willing to bet they don't make it anymore.
Yeah, you know what? I bought a table exactly like that for the cabin. Now it's been a few years. You know where my mom told me to go buy it? In Saskatoon. It was made by the Amish.
Oh, that furniture store in the north end of town there.
Yep.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't think it's there anymore.
Curtis got the photo.
If you're watching the stream, there it is. Ken's photo is up already. Look at that spread.
Well, that good.
You're dating a girl and you go over to that house. Whew. Hang on for dear life. That's good stuff. Can you imagine what the supper's like if that's what the dessert is?
Oh.
That's pita, mushroom sauce, a nice...
buckwheat pierogies.
Buckwheat pierogies, Weirdoville.
I didn't have the buckwheat pierogies.
Oh, yeah, it was you.
That's my PTSD from childhood, having that.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, but it's no rice pudding.
Dynamite chip in there, Monty.
How did he get a microphone?
He doesn't talk for a month now. He can't stop talking.
Yeah, you just triggered him with the rice pudding. comments. What do we score in the baseball game here? 2-2 now. Bottom of the 5th, the Detroit Tigers and Cleveland Guardians.
Just a second here. I'm going to see who's pitching for the Yankees tonight because we need the Yankees to win.
Why you look that up?
Why do you want
the villain? Enough. We need a villain. You got to have the villain.
While you're looking that up, I want to give a clutch performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. You can call the good folks at Nick Service. It's 781-1077. Clutch performer, hands down, again yesterday with a goal, Landon DuPont. 15-year-old, his first 15 years old, and here's the stat line on his first 7 games in the Western Hockey League. 4 goals, 7 assists, 11 points, 0 penalty minutes, and a plus 12 at 15 years old.
And playing defense.
Playing defense for the Everett Silvertips, who beat the Regina Pats 5-1 last night.
Not hiding on the wing, playing defense and playing big minutes.
Landon DuPont, clutch performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park.
Garrett Cole is pitching for the New York Yankees tonight.
Oh, Natalie's brother. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about Major League Baseball right now, but who has the best pitching of the remaining teams?
But it's individual because there's nobody that has like a knockout 5.
No,
there's nobody that has
there's
a lockdown 5
not like an Atlanta
anymore.
Braves 5.
No,
right? No,
because like Garrett Cole would be one of the best for the Yankees when you go highest paid. But look at what is it? Noah Syndergaard. Remember him for the Dodgers? Great in the regular season. Playoffs would come around and would just get lit up and would just be. He was a liability. So nobody has that locked
guaranteed pitching,
that guaranteed 5 anymore.
Yeah.
And now they'll shorten it down to a 3 in these short series, and they'll give guys short innings. So
that's the other cool thing I like about playoff baseball, where all of a sudden they got like, they're warming him up in the bullpen, and he's a starter.
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, they're just going to chuck him out to throw
in the 7th. He's coming in to throw gas for 1 inning.
That's all they need to do.
I know. That's all you need to do.
They come in like they're starting a game in the 7th inning and throw 15, 20 pitches. That's awesome.
Yankees are 1.5-point favorite tonight against the Royals. Do the Padres and Dodgers? No, they go tomorrow.
They go tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, got a soft spot for San Diego.
Probably the ugliest jerseys in sports.
When they were not brown, I liked the Padres more when they were doing the pinstripe thing. But the brown and yellow, and I know, hey, it's retro and all that. But I was watching the other night. I'm like, it's just not a good look. That's maybe why Cleveland is cursed. Just that the brown, just not a good look. I don't mind the orange, but
they got to come up with something. It's terrible. Just
San Diego or Cleveland?
San Diego. Looks like a baby diaper. It's not good.
Looks like that pheasant recipe.
No, that pheasant recipe's awesome.
Okay, so did we figure out who are we taking in the Thursday nighter?
I want the Niners to win.
I'm taking the Seahawks.
I hit the Seahawks too.
I think
Not
that's what
plus
it is.
3 though. I didn't take money line. I took them plus 3.
Yep.
And I need Metcalf to score a touchdown in the worst way on a prop bet.
I can see it. I can see it tonight.
Yeah, it's an intriguing game. Intriguing football, intriguing baseball. Then you got all these hockey games this evening. Dallas at Nashville. Nashville Predators. Going to watch them next weekend. Going to actually hopefully have a chat with Barry Trotzy. I can call him that. I've talked to him 3 times in my life.
You're close. You're tight.
But Nashville with Stamkos there.
And Jonathan Marchessault.
Yeah, they made some other changes too.
Good goaltending.
I like Nashville going deep. I really do. I think of the teams that made changes in the offseason, they probably did the best job of strengthening their roster and putting themselves in a position
I'd like
to
to see a Nashville-Vegas playoff. Trotz versus McCrimmon. Just
the all-Sasky battle.
True Prairie boys.
Dauphin versus Dodsland.
Dauphin versus no, it's not Dodsland. It's Plenty. Saskatchewan. Yeah. It is the all new Sports Cage. Having a lot of fun today. If you're watching the stream, sportscage.com. Thank you very much. And don't forget, we are always on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
Rider Nation Nation, the all-new Sports Cage is bringing you Cooperators Rough Rider football like never before. Now, for every home game, you can watch the Rider Radio live stream on our Sports Cage YouTube channel. Saturday, the Riders take on the Lions. The live stream starts at 2 with Countdown to Kickoff, brought to you by Croft Electric. And we wrap up the game with a Sports Cage Radio Roundtable, brought to you by McDougall Auction. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. And don't miss a minute of our Rider Radio live stream.
Experience counts, and Louis Dreyfus Yorkton has over 150 years combined with their marketing team. The web portal, MyLDC, will keep you up to date from upcoming contracts to the latest canola bids and LDC news. Download the MyLDC app today and stay in touch. Call 1-877-782-8882. That's 1-877-782-8882. Or visit ldcyorkton.com. Louis Dreyfus Yorkton.
Get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Some will try to tell you 8 inches is enough. Others will say 10 inches will do. But when you want a lot of pizza, you gotta hanker down with a delicious 13-inch pepperoni from Western Pizza. Why mess with a good thing? You know what you want. 13 inches of pepperoni pizza perfection from Western Pizza. Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste. Dine in or take out. Order today.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
It's time to bring the thunder. The Regina Thunder are back in action this Sunday at 1 p.m. as they host the Calgary Colts. Come out Sunday afternoon and cheer on your Regina Thunder for this PFC semifinals playoff game as they aim to dominate the Colts. Advance tickets are available at reginathunder.ca or can be purchased at the gate. Kickoff is 1 p.m. at Liable Field. Regina Thunder football. Bring the thunder.
The all-new Sports Cage continues. You can watch our live stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio. Saskatchewan's voice for local sports, 620 CKRM.
It's the all-new Sports Cage. Welcome back. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Regina Thunder in action Sunday, 1 o'clock, Liable Field. It is the PFC semi-final. I think Colson Schultz yesterday said it is guaranteed win night. So everyone in attendance will get some sort of prize from Colson Schultz as he's guaranteeing a win for the Regina Thunder. I'm just kidding, obviously, out there in Sports Cage land. Zach Wajula joining us, receiver from the Regina Thunder on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Now, Zach, it is the old thing. I'm sure you got a list of cliches to give us. You know, you can't take them lightly. Even though you've beaten them, you're on a collision course to play the Hilltops. If there was one or two things that the Calgary Colts pose as a problem, what would it be to you guys?
You know, they're a big play team. In the last game, they scored a couple of touchdowns that were all big plays, right? They got athletes that are pretty good and they're physical. So, we got to bring it on Sunday.
So you're an Indian Head kid, right? Like that's where you played your high school ball. It is football though, and I'm sure if you go back to your high school days and whatnot, anything can happen in football, right? Because it's one game.
Yes, sir. It's do or die now. So,
do you go back to high school when you were talking about playing and maybe there was a playoff game, maybe there was a game where a team that shouldn't have won, or maybe it was you guys and then you guys ended up pulling it out?
There's I think in my grade 11 year actually, we were playing against Lumsden, who was like notorious for being a
wagon
first place team. Yeah, always winning, and we actually beat them in the regular season. They were even actually a division ahead of us. Like they were in 4A, I believe, and we were 3A. So,
wow, that's actually a big deal to move up like that and to knock a team off. Yeah, and Lumsden's always been a perennial power in that. Back to your team and the Thunder. I guess on the offensive side of the ball, what makes you guys tick? Like last week we talked with Leichert, obviously. He's been running roughshod for the last couple of years. Offensively, what makes you guys tick?
We got a great offensive coordinator, and I think now with Likert back and Sadiq in the backfield, we've been able to really open up our run game, which has helped us control the clock and such. And then we can still throw the ball here and there and kind of just nickel and dime. It's controlling the clock is key, and also turnovers. So being able to run the ball is really helpful. And we have good blocking receivers who work hard, and then we catch the ball and get what we can when we can.
Well, that's you bring that up when you think about receivers and blocking. A lot of people, you see it once in a while if you're watching a game on TV, but that's important to be a blocking receiver. Is that something that you work on? And then, how do you look at the blocking game from a receiver side?
Yeah, every day we're working on some sort of blocking in practice, whether it's technical or just who blocks who and what's. And as a group, and like me personally, we value blocking like just as important as catching the ball. It's a run game in the Canadian Football League is huge, so blocking is super important.
Right on. So best of luck this weekend, right? The job's not done. You got Calgary, and then hopefully, like I said, that collision course to play the Hilltops. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
That is 50-year receiver from the Regina Thunder on the Western Pizza guest hotline, Zach Wadula. Big game for them against Calgary, and I guess just polishing up things to take on the Saskatoon Hilltops.
It's 6 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News. Dock workers at the Port of Montreal have